Curtis on his time, breaking down the stories every view will unwind. From left to right, we'll see the light. It's balance, we're chasing, no fighters fight. Curtis still beats, walking it straight. Let's hear both sides, let's communicate. Politics and reason, let's find the truth. Curtis still beats here to bridge it for you. Debates, insights, it's all on the screen. Curtis still be keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay a while, let's dive in deep with Curtis. So be the combos you need. The combos you need. Insights, it's on the screen. Curtis, I'll be keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay a while, let's dive in deep with Curtis. I'll be the convo's unique. Curtis, I'll be talking it straight. Let's hear both sides, let's communicate. Politics and reason, let's find the truth. Curtis, I'll be here to bridge it for you. Debates, insights, it's all on the screen. Curtis, I'll be keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay a while, let's dive in deep with Curtis. So be the combos you need. The combos you need. The combos you need.
Greetings, everyone. The icon I'm using for my avatar is courtesy of some they call Tim, I think. I may have it all mixed up. I got the avatar from North Fairfax Kangaroos on Facebook, as well as some other things. I was going to just do this one on Rumble, but there's still some people who don't have Rumble accounts, and I get it. It's not like social media is the center of our lives, right? Right? So I decided last minute I'd go ahead and throw up the old channel, which is already pretty much screwed. I got a message yesterday. They didn't even bother to say that I could try again June like they said I could. They said, oh, you can try again in July. So I'm pretty sure that the old channel is just screwed until I get a chance to actually talk to somebody physically. So this is the stream that I like to call the Donkey Panda. I'll put this into perspective after I've said hello to everybody in the chat. Waha. Alright, yes, I tried to set things up a little differently, so some of my Rumble stuff is actually showing up on the StreamYard, and some of it's not. I don't understand why. But anyway, welcome, John Ponerero, one of my great supporters, one of my paid Patreon subscribers. I hope you are having a chance to read, and I hope you're enjoying the little book I'm writing, rewriting, whatever you want to call it. And he's kind enough, he's over on YouTube as well, sharing out the links. God bless you, sir. You are a gentleman and a scholar. He's asking if I set up a new stream. I did on YouTube. I'm not sure what Rumble's doing, but it does look like it's playing. Let me know if it's not. I thought about trying to do some advertising over there, but I just was too slow about getting things set up. So there it is. Tim was in the chat of the first one. Oh, crap. So something's going on. I will send the new link to Tim, saying my Facebook will continue to work right. Doobie. I don't know why Rumble is such a big deal, problem thing, child. And if I do have a new member in the audience, they're probably like, what the heck is all this? This is random and crazy. All right, PvP, our guest from Canada. Hello, well met. And then over on Rumble, I'm trying to say we may have a guest. So y'all be polite. Welcome any newcomers. But also, maybe keep an eye out for any trolls. I'm not saying this toward the newcomer. I'm just saying if they're going after Troy, they sure as heck won't mind going after me. Here we go with Stream Elements, which I should probably just delete. Don't mind giving people, my one person that I promote a break, but I think it may be censoring people, and I don't like that. Hello, Resla Germ. Hail and well met. We're going to be talking about just a little bitty talk about what's going on in LA. I suggest if you're in LA, escape from LA today. PvP, there's another channel I subbed to that got demonetized. They challenged it after the time period passed and they won. Well, I keep having the time period pass, and before I can even appeal it again, I've appealed it twice. Before I can even appeal it again, they just are like, well, you can appeal again next month. So I did. It was so bad. John Ponerero is still in that chat. Let him know you started a new stream. And most of the Rumble problems are StreamYard related. Yes, indeed. I probably should not have, but I decided to set it all up to run through StreamYard, especially after I decided that I was going to dual stream to YouTube anyway. So I don't know. I'm still figuring this stuff out. You know what I do love about Rumble? I love the weird emojis. So if you're not into politics, I understand. I hope you're not offended, because I really do want people from all, or maybe not all, but nearly all sides to feel welcome. I probably don't want satanic high priests or, people who wish ill and evil upon others. I don't know that they're necessarily welcome, but you know what? 90% of people I want to have them feel welcome here. Whether you voted for Trump, whether you voted for Kamala, whether you think Trudeau has the best haircut, or whether you think Gavin Newsom has the best haircut, I want you to feel welcome. Especially beautiful women with the name of Natasha. And indeed, PvP, you are correct. Never give up. Never surrender. So we shall so do. Okay, let's not end the stream. Let's end the music. Doobie-doo-doo. There we go. Music is ended. Music is ended. Like the first ending. Trudeau. Let's share the thing that Tim shared to get us in the mood to talk about the subject. Doobie, boo, boo. Hopefully you can hear this, and if YouTube dings me on it, oh well, it's not like I was going anywhere. Anyway, Rumble won't, I guarantee it.
Run! Riot, loot, burn down the Asian grocery stores. No, wait.
All the street lights are out.
Yep, there we go. Riot, loot. Let's peacefully protest by burning people's cars. All right, so I think all of you pretty much know what's going on, and maybe different people have different perspectives on this. In fact, it's one of the reasons why I decided to talk about it. I have this terrible thing where I want to have people discuss things on opposite sides. I don't like echo chambers. I probably set one up. But I like for people to have vastly differing views, but yet still come to a dialogue. Whether or not they can start working on the same sides, I don't know, but I at least think that we need to get past this goofy crap of let's throw violence at each other and that will solve all the problems. I suppose that's the harmful content that YouTube thinks. I'm trying to tell people, let's not be violent. That is harmful. The only place I am a proponent of violence is in bed with beautiful women. Okay, now I've been demonetized. There we go. PvP Trudeau's haircut is probably his only good feature. And John Ponderero nails it on the head with Castro. And Gorillas. Ham hand thoughts, hail and well met. You are saying later. I have no idea. People are telling me that I've got all kinds of different streams set up for all kinds of different times. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm setting stuff up. So hello again. So let's start the talk, shall we? We'll start with the official narrative and see where it goes from there. I'm off today, so who knows how long I may be talking. I do kind of like the idea of being in bed with a beautiful woman. Okay, I better stop that. So, other people may get to thinking bad things that don't need to be thought. So, LA news today. How's that? I actually did have this kind of set up last night, and my tabs all just disappeared. Let's start with this one. Because it kind of ties in with what Troy Pacelli was talking about earlier today. Let's share the stream out. Or not really share the stream. I've already done that, but share a page that I'm going to be showing you. Yeah. This is the Dallas Express. So not quite the official narrative, but close enough. Elon Musk calls out LA riots. Yep, the Dallas Express pulls no punches. They're not calling it a peaceful protest. They're calling it a riot. Let me know what you think. Maybe you think differently, and that's okay. We want people to be able to talk freely and safely about their differences in thought. Elon Musk calls out LA riots as property burns. This is not okay. I'm going to tell you the blunt truth. Unless there's something photoshopped in this image, it doesn't look okay to me. Now, this may be an isolated incident. I don't know. Let's find out. According to this, though, LA riots, not protests. Again, according to this source, posted June 9, 2025, image by Congressman Brandon Gill. Isn't it great when the government starts doing the journalist's job? Elon Musk terse, "This is not okay," post on X, paired with a striking image of a masked, shirtless man waving a Mexican flag atop a flaming vehicle in riot-torn LA, triggered a flurry of reaction from across the political spectrum. The June 8 tweet, and this, by the way, is what made me decide I wanted to talk about it, from the Tesla and SpaceX CEO appeared to signal alignment with President Donald Trump's use of the National Guard. And I know a lot of my friends on the left-hand side, they are not keen on the use of the National Guard to deal with this situation. But he appears to align with President Trump's use of the National Guard to deliver a crackdown on rioters. Again, different use of words. Let me know which side you agree on that. Protesting federal immigration raids in Southern California. Musk's post amplified a moment of high political tension as authorities scrambled to contain flare-ups across LA while online discourse exploded. Will Tanner, editor of the American Tribune, interpreted Musk's tweet as contradictory to the billionaire's recent skepticism of Trump's immigration legislation known as the Big Beautiful Bill. Since I am the Donkey Panda, I can tell you that we need to just have only one way of thinking. The fact that he might agree with Trump on one thing and disagree with him on another is just totally wrong. We should all act like mind-numbed robots and all think the same way. I hope you know I'm being sarcastic. So wouldn't that mean that passing the bill funding deportations on a grand scale is a good idea? Tanner wrote. In contrast, Felipe Ogaz Oviedo offered a sharply different response. Los Angeles was Mexico until 1848. Give back the lands. What do you think about that? On Troy Pacelli's channel last night, I, with tongue very much in cheek, made the comment, let's give California back to Mexico. What do you think about that? Was it wrongly taken away from Mexico? Would it be justice to give it back? Please let me know in the comments. I will get back to them eventually. I want to read the article, and then I'll see what you guys are saying in the chat. Here's an Elon Musk tweet. This is not okay. And I guess this is a different one than I had seen. The one I had seen is the one I used for the thumbnail on Rumble, the guy with the motorcycle riding through flame-ridden streets waving a Mexican flag. I have nothing against Mexico. It's just that I do not like anybody of any nationality putting things on fire in my country, riding around on vehicles that I assume he bought in my country or stole in my country, and then waving a flag from the country that he refuses to be deported to because of laws passed in my country by my country's mode of lawmaking. To me, I'll be blunt. I'll just put it out there. I'm very much not going to be much of a donkey panda, I guess. To me, this is an act of war. That's my thought on it. I was not very far from feeling the exact same way Deleted Scenes felt last night on his stream. If you do not like this country, if you do not like the way this country does things, it's okay. It's a big world. Go back to your country or go to a different one. Go to Canada. I'm sure they'll welcome you. I'm pretty sure PvP has a bedroom all set up and ready for this nice, friendly guy here with his little skull pants. I'm sure we're all ready to get him a nice place to stay. Will Tanner's response, wouldn't that mean that passing the bill funding deportations on a grand scale is a good idea? Okay, so you got people on the right and the left saying that Elon Musk is a big dodo head. Several prominent names seized on the riots as validation of their warnings about mass immigration. Texas Republican Congressman Brandon Gill shared multiple images of protesters waving Mexican flags with the caption, "Import the third world, become the third world." Andy Go, a journalist known for chronicling Antifa activity, posted video footage of what he described as CHP vehicles on fire and officers pushed back under an overpass, adding, rioters above were throwing rocks and flammable materials. The video is credited to Cam at Cam Higbee. Ah, beautiful woman. Okay, I'm not going to be distracted. Not going to be distracted. Not going to do it. In a more severe tone, Tarrant County GOP Chairman Beau French, what a name, offered a stark warning, not a Tony Stark warning. Quote, tweeting Go's footage with the message, if you try this in Texas, I because I am on YouTube as well, I at least got to play nice a little bit. If you try this in Texas, let's just say he's repeating the message from the song, Try That in a Small Town. I'm going to say something that I've been holding back for a long time. It's probably not a smart thing for me to say. As most of you know, I have a new job. Newish. I've been doing it for about 6 months now. The reason I'm bringing it up is, the reason I hold back on saying this is because there's probably all kinds of levels and areas where it won't sound good. One of the reasons I have this job is because I pass background checks. It is pretty establishable by looking at my record that I am no threat to anybody who doesn't try to hurt me. So you're safe to let me into your home, to measure your home, to get products from the company that I work for. I measure your home so we know how much product you need. I don't want to name the companies because I don't, these are my ideas, not theirs. I don't want them to suffer because of my stupidity. So I go to a lot of homes in Canada. Yeah, in Canada. They shipped me to Canada. In fact, I'm going to be measuring PVB's house today. Somebody's sending me a message. You're probably telling me, stop being so stupid. Oh, hey, Charles. What the hell? What is Charles saying? Do I want to know? It probably has nothing to do with the stream, hopefully. Here's where I'm going with this. There are a lot of people in Kansas and Oklahoma, good God-fearing people who are no threat to you, no threat to Mexico, no threat to anyone, who leaves them alone and lets them live their lives. But there are objects in these homes that YouTube would be very upset if I discussed. And all I'm going to say is, unless you do bring a literal army to some of these small towns, you try to raid some of these homes, yeah, you may get it done. You will lose people. You will lose some of your gang. I'm just saying. Anyway, Andy Go. California Highway Patrol officers have been pushed back under an overpass with rioters above throwing rocks, flammable materials, setting a California Highway Patrol. Remember, the protests are against ICE. The protests are against the federal government. So why are we punishing the law enforcement branch that works for haircut? Could it be because we don't care about haircut? Could it be because we don't care about the government? Could it be because we actually aren't peaceful protesters trying to protect people? We're an army set out to reconquer territory we think is ours by right. And again, maybe it is. Let's watch this, just a little bit of this. I don't know. I'm not going to play the sound, though. Maybe. Let the big wheel keep on turning. All right. Where's that mute button? I hate that they keep moving these things. Okay. I don't know if you can see it, but here we go. Oh, yeah. You can't see it because it moves. I hate that. Freaking blankety blanks. And I have so many tabs open because I'm trying to run a stream. And now it's not sharing. Why is it not sharing? It doesn't share because it hates me. Here we go. Andy Go, no relation to James Gwynn. times when I want to do more on Rumble, I would love to be sharing the sound and everything, but here we are. I mean, these people in these masks, isn't it curious? They get upset because ICE agents wear masks, but these guys wear masks. Well, that's because private citizens are allowed to wear masks. So why did the narrative change in the last 5 years? I don't understand. I thought the government had the right to tell us whether we wore masks or not. Well, no, they don't. Make up your mind. All right, let's check on what's going on in the chat. I've been rambling for quite a bit. Ooh, lots of people saying lots of things, saying hello. Rizla Germ, if you don't think it's a riot, there's something wrong with you. Look, again, I'm not being very donkey pandy-ish. This one's kind of hit me, not really where I live, because if it had hit me where I lived, you guys wouldn't be hearing me in a stream. You'd probably be hearing about me on the news. Big dumbass in Tonkawa gets hurt because he's a big dumbass. Film at 11. Deep and Zach, welcome. It is good to see you. And I hope PvP took my really bad joke in good taste. Melting pot meltdown? Indeed, sir. Indeed. PvP. 1848, bit late to give back the land. But look, I've not been willing to say this on this channel until now, but I'm coming out today. This is exactly what the plan was from at least a certain percentage of the however many million people. I know some of my leftist friends will be like, we don't know that it was 20 million people. Okay, fine, fair enough. But we know it was well into the millions. And I think there are some pretty adequate sources that would show that it was over the 10 million mark. So we have an army of people. Well, no, it's not an army. Are you sure? That looked like an army to me. It was good enough to take out a police highway patrol cruiser. My friends that are all they have their weapons for is to hunt rabbits wouldn't be able to do that. What do you call it? If there is somebody new in here, they're probably like, what the heck did I tune into? This guy's crazy. Jeff B., hail and well met. Good to see you. PvP generations have grown up on that land. If they acquired their bit of land they live on legally, they shouldn't have to give it back. Agreed. If it was taken away illegally, first of all, how do you define the illegality of a war? I mean, seriously, because that's how we acquired California. There were 2 wars involved, at least. I may be missing one. First, California, like Texas, had their own war of independence. They were their own nation for a while. And then, whether for good reason or ill reason, they went to the United States and said, hey, look, we want to be part of you. And then there was a war there, and we defeated Mexico. Now, what Mexico seems to forget and ignore, if you want to say this was an unjust war, that's fine, but Mexico really wasn't an independent nation at the time, not by my definition. They were run by the military dictator Santa Anna, who was had been a Napoleonic officer. So you don't really have Mexico. You have this weird offshoot of France. I know I'm oversimplifying, corrupting the history a bit, but to me, I get like the people like Henry David Thoreau. He said it was an unjust war, that it was wrong that we were fighting it. And I'll be honest. I think I tend more to agree with him. But the fact is, the war was fought. The war was won. The war's been done for 100 and I can do math. I can for 180 years it would kind of be like me and PvP getting into an argument because the United States invaded portions of Canada back in the War of 1812. So the United States has got to pay reparations because there's a slim chance that somebody PvP knew that had a relation, that had an ancestor, that had a former roommate, might have been shot at during that battle. So we owe PvP reparations. I'm kind of exaggerating, but I hope you get the point. How long do we live with these things and then just get over it? All right, let's go on. Jeff B., these Mexican flags were likely manufactured in China. And sadly, you're not wrong. PvP, okay. The point taken. There's satire. Then there's just being mean. We have enough problems under the liberals. PvP Canadians don't want them. The government here has let too many foreigners in with temporary student permits. PvP trouble is the liberals lose track of them once in the country. They disappear and stay permanently. Yes, I knew what you meant. I'm not that pedantic. PvP, when the government can't even work together, what chance is there for civil unity? That's a good point. PvP says both our countries are feeling the results of years of bad political decisions. And DJ Ronnie G, hail and well met. Indeed truth. And I need to get back to where I'm promoting you guys as creators, but I'm all emotional now. I'm like Elon Musk. I'm all emotional. I might just call out Trump on Truth Social for no good reason. DJ Ronnie G, we won. Remember the Alamo. And if you want a great read, the history of the Alamo, again, I am a little bit pedantic. I make the distinction between Mexico and Santa Ana. But Mexico can't make these people can't seem to make the distinction between the 1840s government of the United States. I mean, it's pre-Civil War, for crying out loud. But this current group of people is the one that has to pay for it in blood and humiliation and invasion. DJ Ronnie G, is it an army or is it savages? And that's not a terrible point. Resolute Germ, there are about 40 million illegals, not 10 million. I don't mean to be totally pedantic, but I would love to know your source, not because I want to call you out, but because if my liberal friends ever do listen to me again, which I doubt, they'll want to know the source themselves. What's your source, Curtis? Our sources say that it's well under whatever. Yeah. DJ Ronnie G, what's the correct term for people who use improvised stuff? I don't know, but I suggest it might start with a T. Hail, Connie Cleary! Another wonderful creator has entered the chat, as well as a great wrench. Welcome. I like Troy had said yesterday, and I dropped the ball myself, but please, let's keep an eye out for trolls. Because if you don't watch my stuff, trolls will come and eat your face. Take that, YouTube. Take that. Greetings and good afternoon. Resolute Germ, war is completely legal. And another thing YouTube won't like me saying. And when I say this, I want everyone to know that I unequivocally condemn the activity I'm about to talk about and discuss, but I'm trying to make a point. The Holocaust in Germany was legal. Their legitimate, established government, of course, it was corrupted and turned into a tyranny, but that's neither here nor there. By the laws of civilization, they made a law And that law was that we can starve these people, we can kill these people, we can dehumanize these people. An unjust law, yes. Did it justify us going to war with them? I would suggest yes, so. But it was legal. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this, because there was a lot of stuff that the left was throwing out yesterday on Twitter that made me pause. You know, maybe I'm the one that's in the wrong. Maybe ICE is a Gestapo-like thing. Maybe we shouldn't be going after illegal aliens this way. Maybe we've gone too far. I'm not going to answer that question just yet. You probably suspect where I stand, but at the same time, even now in all this emotion, my primary hope isn't so much to tell you how to think as to just simply get you to think. Let's question some of our assumptions. Let's not question them to the point where we're inactive, to the point where we're surprised by all this goofy crap and destroyed as a nation. But at the same time, let's at least pause for a second and consider the possibility. Maybe the opposition's right. Maybe we're the bad guys. I guess I should be the donkey panda after all. The Dems are right. We're wrong. It's all peaceful protests. Haircut's right. Mayor Bass is all about the base, about that base. No troubles. People saying hello to each other. I love this community. PvP Rabbits, was Elmer Fudd taking place in the chaos? Yes. We're hunting rabbits. Hey, what's that Mexican flag? Blam. All right. Resolute Germ, no such thing as a just or unjust war. Honestly, yeah, the only one that I kind of equivocate with is World War II. But yeah, on some level, war is just a horror. It's basically legalized murder and rape and destruction. And there's really, at the end of the day, there's nothing cool about that. We make movies about it. When we're children, we think it's cool. We play D&D games and stuff. But in real life, in truth, it's a tragedy. And it's just a mark of the human degradation that we have wars. Suzanne, meet you all the way, but I don't. Susanna, yeah. Welcome. We have two women here, so it's not just a sausage party, which is good because, YouTube will certainly ding me if I say that. Anyway, all of you are welcome and loved and hopefully feel safe. Let me know if you don't. I will try to make it right if I can. Does PvP have a P.O. box to send the reparation checks to? Yes, but we're going to pay him in 1880s continental money or Revolutionary War continental money, which will be worth virtually nothing. Okay, because of inflation. Actually, they'd probably be worth a fortune as collector's pieces. I would love to have a framed continental dollar up on my thing. Yeah, it's all good, Connie. I feel like a big jerk for. I really did. I was my spidey sense was tingling about the person, and then I got up for some reason. I can't even remember why I got up, and I got distracted because my OCD does that sometimes. And by the time I sat back down, they had already deleted these people and their comments. And then I tried to go in and block the people, and instead I blocked, I think it was Penzak, and I unblocked him, but I was like, crap, because I could no longer see what D. Penzak had said until I went into the moderator page and looked it up, and I just felt like a big dodo head. I not only didn't block the bad guys, I blocked one of the good guys. I'm a great moderator. Suzanne says, pay him in eggnog. In expired eggnog. Oh, gosh. I need to look up that stream one of these days. I know about the joke, but I sadly had come along too late in the game. Let's go back to the article. I don't know why I'm saying it that way. Oh, Penzak. Wait, you blocked me, then unblocked me? What a professional operation this is. Indeed. Indeed, it is true. PvP had to step away for a few minutes. I missed some drama. Yes, you missed. We were attacked by trolls. They said that they were looking for PvP because they were expecting reparation checks from him because Canada stole some land sometime. I don't know. I'm making this crap up. Penzak, do I get a free blender for being in the chat now? Sure. No, actually, no. I don't have a blender, so no. PvP loves his eggnog. I do too, although as I'm getting older, I have to drink less of it. Smooth operator. This is another reason why I want to do more stuff on Rumble. I want to be able to sing and not get dinged. Too funny. I'm glad you think it's funny. I think it's a tragedy. It's a travesty of justice. All right, back to Elon Musk calling out the stuff. That may be the whole thing. No, there's more. And yeah, there's more. Trump advisor Stephen Miller added, believe it or not, California used to be a paradise. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Mass migration has brought us to where we are now. Eek! People are talking on Discord. Go away. Go away, Discord. I don't like Discord. Mass migration, yes. Well, though tensions ran high, California Governor Gavin Haircut pleaded for calm, which, look, to be fair, that pleading for calm probably is the smart thing to do instead of me telling people to get out their porch fix. Their pitchforks, I can talk, and torches. Gavin Haircut says, California, don't give Donald Trump what he wants. Speak up, stay peaceful, stay calm. Do not use violence. Respect the law enforcement officers that are trying their best to keep the peace. So at least if there's no context, that tweet by itself, I would be saying, hey, yeah, that's cool. That's exactly the right thing to say, blah, blah, blah. But we all know there's context. Meanwhile, the LAPD released a statement Saturday claiming the city's protests had remained peaceful. You guys have seen some of the footage. Let me know what you think. Again, if you do think it's peaceful, don't feel intimidated. I'm just a big dummy with a mic. Please feel free to respectfully express if your opinion is different. If you think these were mostly peaceful protests, I will disagree with you, but you have the right to think that. The June 7 news release read in part, we commend all those who exercise their First Amendment rights responsibly. The department warned that it remains fully prepared to respond swiftly and appropriately to beautiful women in glasses. To any potential acts of civil unrest. However, that framing was swiftly disputed by libs of TikTok. Now, just so you know, I rarely go to libs of TikTok because my liberal friends do think that they are anathema. And therefore, it's a source that will not persuade them no matter what's on there, no matter what's said. But since it's being cited here, we'll cite it as well. Libs of TikTok posted a screenshot of the LAPD press release, added a community note. The protests were not peaceful and without incident, linking to footage of violence. The unrest began after President Trump's administration ordered large-scale immigration raids throughout the LA area, prompting outcry and demonstrations in multiple neighborhoods. Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, the terror of popes everywhere, and other administration officials characterized the protests as an insurrection. What do you think about that? Should we call this an insurrection? And also, what are your thoughts on Trump, who is, according to the left, the great insurrectionist? What are your thoughts on them using that term? With the White House deploying 2,000 National Guard troops to the area, reportedly against the wishes of Governor Newsom. As we all know, after fighting the Civil War, we established that the federal government is never allowed to do anything the states don't like. Wait, what was that, Cassie? My overpaid assistant's telling me, oh, the North won that war. Oh, never mind. The escalating rhetoric marks a dramatic turn in Musk's relationship with Trump. 2 days before, the two clashed publicly, and yet there were no lightsaber duels. I'm so disappointed. With Musk reposting criticism of Trump's immigration bill and even suggesting in now deleted posts that Trump appeared in the Epstein files. The White House responded by threatening to revoke Musk's government contracts, and Trump declared he had no plans to mend the relationship. In a final twist, the city of Glendale, just miles from downtown LA, announced on June 8 it would no longer cooperate with ICE. Instead, they would cooperate with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, as vampires are more of a threat than illegal aliens. What was that, Cassie? What? Oh, she's saying that last one may not be true. Sorry, my bad. In a statement posted to X, city officials wrote, after careful consideration, the city of Glendale. I mean, seriously, do we really respect the careful considerations of a city that calls itself Glendale? Do we? Anyway, after careful consideration, the city of Glendale has decided to end its agreement with U.S. Homeland Security ICE to house federal immigrant detainees. This local decision reflects our core values: public safety, transparency, and community trust. See, it's right here. Tweet from City of Glendale. The Glendale PD does not enforce immigration laws and remains fully compliant with SB 54, whatever that is. Our focus remains in serving Glendale residents and businesses by allowing them to be looted and destroyed while preserving it as one of the safest cities in the nation. Ooh, should I do it? Should I look at what's going on in Glendale? I wonder if they're being safe after all at the moment. Uh-oh, we've got people coming in. Let's see what we got. Just add more rum. PvP, I had less of it at Christmas. More Toto. Meet you all the way. Susanna. Yeah, to heck with all this goofy immigration stuff. Let's just sing Toto songs to Susanna. And Connie Cleary, we need to, I guess the rain's on Connie's channel. She's got the birds that's gonna make you smile and make you glad. Ooh. It's called parody. For under fair use, YouTube, you're not supposed to ding that. Resolute Germ, it's been almost a half century since California was a paradise. I definitely think it's been, I remember watching the Brady Bunch as a 3, 4, 5-year-old and thinking, man, that's a beautiful state. I would love to live there. And now I look at all this goofy crap going on. I have no desire to even visit. I really don't. I don't think I'd be safe. I don't think Cassie would be safe, more importantly. D. Penzak, is all that fire damage in California repaired now, Mr. Newscomb? Well, it must. Some of it must be because we've found more stuff to set fire to. So, Whiskey Flats, I hope you're driving safe. And you need to check out this creator as well. In fact, all these creators, check them out. Be a better friend than me and watch their stuff more consistently. Whiskey Flats has got some really cool videos of his dogs, which are, that alone's worth the trip to his channel. But then he's also got some cool videos of his toy trains. I kind of wish Mark Malnikoff was here. He's also a train enthusiast. And every now and then I think, hey, you and Whiskey Flat should communicate. And then I'm like, I'd probably mess it up somehow. But I'll wager, Whiskey Flat says, there will be more firearms found at this peaceful protest than there was at the insurrection a few years back. Yeah, it's an interesting point. But, we also couldn't find the firebomb, so it makes sense that we couldn't find firearms either. Even though a guy showed one off to CNN, and I haven't seen the video since. I know for a fact there was one. It may have been a toy weapon for all I know, but there was one. I saw it with my own eyes on CNN, but now we can't find it. Something tells me those federal employees didn't think their day would go like that in L.A. Suzanne saying hello. Say hello, Whiskey Flats. Suzanne is the courageous woman that's here in spite of us all being a bunch of ist pig dogs. So be good and friendly to her. Local law enforcement responded to a grand total of 0 riot crimes. Jeff B., don't suppose there were a lot of confidential human sources in the recent LA riots. Actually, Jeff B., with respect, I don't doubt that there probably are some confidential human sources. They may not be paid by USAID. They may be being paid by NEF. But no, I don't doubt that there are some of these said people here. It's just that you're not going to see them on TV because we don't need to make the narrative show more violence. We need the narrative to show less. So you probably have some of them out there with peaceful signs saying, we peacefully protest. Gavin Newsom is great. Miss Bass is all about the bass, about that bass. No trouble. Lizzie Armstrong, God bless you. The one person that I'm actually a little bit afraid might not like this content. Lizzie, you're amazing, and I love Fifi. You need to check her out. She's got a bird that is just the best. She has the Cassie of birds. Connie Cleary's the bird woman of YouTube, but Lizzie Armstrong has the bird. Fifi. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bird. We saw it on TV. It took me right back to the Kent State University. And hello, Cassie, and my beautiful Cassie and my smart friend of Curtis. Cassie is my overpaid assistant. Excuse me. Yuck. That was professional. What about illegal alien vampires? Yeah, see, that's why we need Buffy. Buffy instead of ICE. They're probably, Spike was not an American citizen. He came from London. Did he come here legally? I'll bet he didn't. So we need Buffy not ICE. We need Buffy out there hunting down the illegal alien vampires. And now that we've defunded USAID, I think we need the NEF to come out and pay Buffy. I think about $300 million would be reasonable because wooden stakes are pretty expensive, So we need to pay her $300 million to be patrolling the streets to keep us safe from illegal alien vampires that look like Billy Idol. I'll be dancing with my... Oh, wait, that's a different singer. Never mind. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. PvP, interesting that Elon has fallen out with Trump. I haven't read up on the causes. Still surprised to hear about it. I'll be honest. Just be honest here. I was saddened by it, but now we have something else to focus on. Lizzie Armstrong. Hi, Suzanne. 5:50 a.m. here in Australia. Heading to the kitchen for coffee and honey. Good choice. I am also drinking my second cup of coffee, which I will probably regret tonight. I'll probably be up at 5:50 in the morning going, great. I'm going to have to drive all day and go into people's homes and see their objects that YouTube doesn't want me to talk about and think about what a bad idea it would be for some of those gangs to try things like that in a small town. Lizzie Armstrong, we have Bundaberg run here, made just north of me, no tariffs. Cool. I'm hoping this is a joke. Either that or I have to plead ignorance, PvP. Glendale, better than living in Freddale. Right on. Lizzie Armstrong, free trade swap for maple syrup from Ohio. Lizzie, don't you know you're supposed to get your maple syrup from Canada? That's what this whole trade war is all about. Eat more Canadian maple syrup. Ohio is right out. I'm just teasing. Whether you get it from Ohio, whether you get it from Canada, I hope the maple syrup that was made and consumed with love. D. Penzak, lived in California for 2 years. It's a hellhole. Couldn't wait to get out. I have talked to several people. Some of them were probably, just being honest, of somewhat questionable legality as far as their citizenry. And even though I'm hopping up and down about this, no, I'm not going to be, I'm not one of these people, I'm going to out you because you're an illegal alien. No, I actually do get the sympathy for the illegal alien that really is trying to make a better living and actually does love America and love Mexico too. They just couldn't make the living there. So, I'm okay with people loving the land that they came from. It's just, don't burn things down in my country, waving the flag of your country and burning the flag of mine, and then expect me to be all happy about it. Lizzie Armstrong, Bundaberg rum. Oh my gosh, you guys are so making me want to spike my coffee, and it's too early in the day, even for a day off. I gotta be good. I gotta be good. They've gone to heaven, so I've got to be good. PvP says, and is correct, there are worse names than Glendale. Suzanne, Lizzie, we love our maple syrup up here in Canada. See, I have wonderful Canadians here. Buy Canadian syrup, people. And she has maple trees in her yard. I have pecan trees. Cassie loves to eat the pecans. I'm too lazy to pick them up and crack them. So that's why she is the intelligent one and I'm not. PvP, there's a town in Newfoundland. Oh, I wish I wasn't on YouTube. I wish I could read that. But read it yourselves. I would suggest that is indeed a worse name than Glendale. So Gary out there, when we rename Tonkawa and the choice is between Glendale and Dilldale. Yeah, there we go. I can probably say that. Let's go with Glendale. PvP is sharing a link. He is great at that. NewfoundlandLabrador.com. There's no place like Dilldale. Lizzie Armstrong, I buy Canadian maple syrup. I know. I'm just being a jerk. Jerk, 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 jerk. Here's a link for your amusement and enjoyment. Wow. YouTube knows what kind of mood I'm in. It keeps popping up these pictures of chicks. I'm going to have to burn off all my frustrations through streaming. Lizzie Armstrong, Suzanne, awesome pretty trees. A link posted above. PvP wants to protest the protest. So do I. Can I peacefully protest the peaceful protest? Suzanne and Lizzie, they really are pretty when they change their colors. We must protest the protest. That from Whiskey Flats. Doo-doo. Thank goodness for Connie helping me with Fifi. Right on. Spike and Angel were both illegal aliens. You are correct. One was from England and one was from Ireland, wasn't he? See, those are the illegal aliens we want to keep out. Not people who want to conquer our territory and give it back to other countries. We want vampires to be kicked out. Lizzie Armstrong, you remember what happened to the students at the Kent State University? I vaguely do. Please feel free to remind us, though, because one, my memory is vague, and two, if I vaguely remember it, there probably are people who've completely forgotten it. Although I have a pretty intelligent crowd of people. In fact, I probably need to get done with comments, but I can't help it. You guys make great comments. Half the fun of these streams is reading you guys' comments. The PvP, I had a crush on Willow when I used to watch the show. Allison Hannigan, what a babe. Oh, I had a crush on every woman on that show. It's like, look at her, look at her, look at her. Heck, I had a crush on the mom. You know, Buffy was like, ooh, her and Giles. And I was thinking, man, if I could just trade places with Giles, man, that would be great. And then she died. Okay. PvP, hell yeah, she is. Curtis, maple syrup is expensive up here for the pure stuff. Well, you know, Suzanne, things down here are expensive for the pure stuff too. Woo! My buddy from Erie, says John Ponterero, lives in LA, has been saving up to move out. This riot will probably speed up the process. And there's people in Connie's community that I'm thinking about, and I'm almost hopeful that they don't show up because I know they think differently than I do. But at the same time, I worry about them. And politics aside, I hope that they're okay. And if you could reach out, maybe just ask them if they're okay. Don't tell them I'm doing a stream. They get upset by my lame politics and stuff, but they're good people. And I just hope that none of this stuff is having any bad impact on them. Just because someone thinks differently than you do politically doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad people. Now, if someone is setting fire to your car and waving a foreign flag over it, I'm sorry, that now descends into the definition of Curtis Selby's definition anyway, of bad people. But if you just think differently about the activity than I do, then that does not make you bad people. Ohio maple syrup is a great product, especially if I can't get Canadian syrup. Oh, Suzanne, don't stress about it. You're way too kind, but no, don't save your efforts because I don't have a woman here to appropriately consume the maple syrup with anyway. Okay. Connie Clear says PvP is right. John Ponterero, if you add rum to the coffee, it'll likely offset any untoward effects from the caffeine. Do it. I don't have any rum here. Since I don't work for an alcoholic distributor anymore, I rarely have more than 1 or 2 bottles of whatever at a time. I'll be in my bunk. Look at her. How can you riot in a world that's got something like that? There's so much better ways to take your energies out. This is why rioting is bad. Hey! Ahoy! Accounting sheep. And while we're on it, I can't help it. I gotta promote one more time. He's got an incredible version of an English translation of the Latin poem Horatius. It's basically, if you don't know what it is, it's the Roman version of the Declaration of Independence. It's the poem describing the events that caused the Romans to rebel and become a republic. If you just want your blood stirred and you want to just feel like you need to draw a sword and stand on a bridge and defend it from hordes of bad people, listen to the poem Horatius as it has been produced on Accounting Sheep's channel. It's 20 some minutes long, but it is so worth your time. Just go listen to it. Go watch it. Go spread it to your friends. YouTube will probably ding you for the harmful material, but it's worth it. It's so worth it. Lizzie Armstrong, you can stand by the Constitution. I love it. And you know what? I wish I knew more about the Australian Constitution. I know there's been shenanigans in Australia, and I never talk about it on that movie channel because that's not the place and that's not the time. But I've often wondered about your Constitution. I've often wondered, how much of that stuff that we hear in America, is that real? Is that propaganda? Is Australia okay? I've always loved Australia. I still kind of want to visit there, but I'm worried about you people, but I may be full of crap. So let me know. Accounting Sheep says, I have no idea what that girl was selling, but I'll buy one. Heck, if I had the money, I'd buy 2. Oh, we're talking about what she's selling. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Accounting Sheep says that Allison hasn't aged well. Well, I am an older guy, though, so I don't know if I'd even care. Lizzie Armstrong, you must have a look. The kids protested the Vietnam War. The National Guard was brought in. Shots fired. Students on the ground passed away. That's terrible. And again, whichever side you're on that, that's just terrible that something like that happened. Suzanne, politics in my home growing up was hell. Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that. My parents each voted separately, of each other's views. I got to say this, even though my ex-wife was crazy, she actually had very similar political views to me, but because she was what she was, she often had to find a way, so like, it was kind of like the Elon Musk and Trump spat, the politics are virtually the same, but we've got to find a way to hate each other, because it's just not cool that everyone's getting along and having peace and having cute videos of children and stuff. We can't have that. We've got to have hate and anger. So I don't know. I can't even remember much about it, but she just find ways to pick at we would agree on 99% of things. That 1% difference was what made me evil. Accounting Sheep, every ad Curtis gets is for a dating service, which is odd because I haven't been on a dating app in longer than that. It's been since almost the time of the coof. Because I think I went on, I don't really count it, but I went on the dating apps for a brief time after Nyla, who Gary knows, but none of the rest of you do. After the one who had the dog, after she broke up with me, I went on for a brief time and found the experience, I don't want to say insanely disappointing, because there was at least one woman I dated, and I doubt she'll ever hear this, but I really did have a good time with her. But other than her, it was an insanely disappointing experience. And even though I had a great time with her, we did not work out. Not her fault. It just circumstances happen, and we just couldn't do it. But anyway, Lizzie Armstrong used to drink rum. Can't remember why you stopped. Well, you may have had health reasons. Even though I have changed my views on drinking, it is best to drink it in moderation. I probably drink at least close to too much, if not too much. And Suzanne's using that wrench the right way rather than hitting me up the head with it, as I probably deserve. She is letting y'all know about Accounting Sheep's channels. Please, yes, check him out. Check out his, if you don't check anything else out, but please check some other things out too. But if you only check out Horatius, you will be glad you did. The only thing that could improve that, Accounting Sheep, and I'm not saying this is a criticism, but the only thing I could think of that might improve that would be to have Man of War music going, the instrumental Man of War music going on in the background. But you do have something pretty damn moving. So it's really good. It's really good. And I'm assuming that that's the poem. Anyway, thank you very much. I've gotten off the topic, but who cares? The chat is... This is one of the things if you ever go to Culture Casino, I love Culture Casino. I can't recommend him enough. But one of the troubles when I watch his stuff is he spends so much time in the chat. But I get it. When you've got good chat, it's hard not to respond to it. Accounting Sheep says Australian Constitution. They're quite sturdy, I'm told, but can't handle their liquor. Lizzie might tell you otherwise. Lizzie is saying we can talk one day about it. Okay, our current government reelected. Watch to see us be the peacemakers of the Pacific. Okay, that's cool. Accounting Sheep shared politics, but still crazy. I can relate, sir, and I think I know what you're talking about. I hope that all that stuff is going okay for you. At any rate, I pray for both of you pretty nearly every day. There is an occasional day when I zone out and forget, but I'm thinking 5 or 6 days out of 7. I pray for both of you every day. I need to update my list because there's getting to be a few people in here I don't pray for every day. I need to add you to the list, Suzanne. We had a conservative and a liberal in the House. That sucks. You know what I've always wondered, because I've dated liberals and actually had tolerable relationships with them. Is it ever possible for somehow you could get the best? I don't know if that's possible because I tried it and it seemed to work for a while and then it drastically didn't. It was kind of like we were California in the 70s and then all of a sudden we were California today, just flames. But is it possible? Because like men and women are so different and it's so beautiful when they blend together, opposites, but in love and all that. Why am I in this kind of a mood? I need to stop taking the testosterone things. Anyway, so is it possible for the liberal conservative thing to work the same way? Is it possible that we take the best of the conservative and the best of the liberal and mix it all together and make something beautiful? I don't know. And maybe it's just a foolish thing to think about. I don't know. PvP, generation after generation seem to have a tendency to repeat history instead of learning from it. That is true, and yet I don't recall us having to defend any bridges. Okay, that was a lame joke. Don't let me. Suzanne, I don't think I could ever do a dating app. Your life, your business, and honestly, with my luck, now that I'm giving you the advice not to use it, you'll use it tomorrow and find this billionaire hunk who just sweeps you off your feet and I'll look like a dumbass. But my experiences with it, you can find some good people, but you're going to slough through just some horrible crap. You're going to go through 99 bottles of poison before you get to the nice bottle of rum. At least that's my experience. Counting Sheep appreciates my prayers. PvP is linking to the CSNY song Ohio. Nice. See, this is why I wish I was on Rumble. I could play it for you. I'm on Rumble, but I'm also on YouTube, so I can't really play it. Counting Sheep, the last time I dated a liberal was 13 years ago, never again. The last time for me was Nyla. And I mean, it's not the liberalism I'm no longer willing to date. It's craziness. I want sanity and stability and sweetness. And I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. I know we all have our moments, if like you just have to blow up for random reasons every 2 months. As long as you make it up to me later, we could figure it out. But anyway, I don't know why I'm talking too much about it. Tim is back and he's out for vengeance. Thank you, by the way, for sharing the thing here. And I started this out with what you had shared. Do I still have it up? I don't. Dang it. Well, anyway, I started with the Mystery Science Theater thing of loot, riot, rob the Asian stores. Oh, Counting Sheep, a New York City, get a rope. And YouTube will ding me for that. New York City liberal, no less, never again. Everybody's saying hi. Lizzie Armstrong, we must support our people, health, education, and housing imperative. I do. And again, I know there's so much difference in these thoughts, but whatever you might think about politics, whatever you think about economics, I think whether it's the government, whether it's society, there do need to be some kind of, I hate to use the term because I know the libs have done their thing with it, but there needs to be safety nets. There needs to be the capacity. You need to be able to get sick once or twice in your life and not end up homeless. I'm just saying. You need to be able to go take your kids to school and they're safe and they're taught things that will actually help them in their lives. And they're not taught weird, perverse things about sex. They may be taught about sex at an appropriate age in an appropriate way, but we don't need. Gutfield was showing this lady, again, I wish I was just on Rumble. She was reading from a book in a library, and it was in I can't remember. I want to say it was a 3rd or 4th grade library. And the book was saying, well, is that guy going to eat her kitty, basically? I'm sorry. I would be okay with that being in a high school. I'd kind of cringe and feel icky, but I'm kind of okay with maybe that being in a high school library. I'm totally okay with it being in a college library. It has no place in a 3rd or 4th grade library. And it was this in a state legislature. I can't remember the state. And the chairman was like, I'm sorry, you can't say that here. And she's like, well, I can't say it here in our state government among adults, but we can have it in a school for 3rd and 4th graders. And silence, crickets, no answers to her whatsoever. Why did I get on that? I guess I'm going crazy. But yes, I do agree that we need, in some form or fashion, whether it's through politics, whether it's through our own economic and spiritual efforts, we need to support people with health and education and housing. Tim was cleaning up his computer room, pulling everything out of it and resetting it. I need to go through my library and clean up all the books. I need to build some shelves. I got a set of shelves. I need to get the books, as many of them as I can, on those shelves. And I need to get this computer in that room because it would be a better place to do all the staging, and I could probably do better lighting and sound in there. Lizzie, good God, you are an amazing woman. She likes Scottish whiskey liqueur. I'm just insert an appropriate statement here, but I got to tell you, if you were in Oklahoma, that would be a mating call right there. PvP says thing is liberals have changed, and this is true. I think this is a very valid truth here. Just like the conservatives have changed, both liberals and conservatives used to be more moderate. I remember in the 60s and the 70s, both parties could sit at a table. Yes. What happened to those times? Tim said, like I said, they won't go to Koreatown again. See 1992. I'm all right. I just need to look that up. Let's do that. I think I've talked enough for now anyway. I'm getting off topic, but you know what? It's okay. Yeah, why didn't it show that ad? This ad shows this burly guy drinking a health drink. Instead, y'all think I'm a sex-crazed fiend. What's your phone number? Okay. I'm looking up Koreatown. 1992. No, I don't want to go on Discord. Go away. I know you're a cool person, but go away. The Roof Koreans. Ooh. Oh, I'm going to go full bore on this one. Ha 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 ha. It's a slightly unrelated topic, but Tim and I were talking on Facebook. Would the Orientals put up with this kind of crap? And he is sharing with me definitive proof that very likely they would not put up with this crap. So let's go. Meet you all the way. Tim. Yeah. Tim, I like, you're a great person, but your song does not work as well in the Toto music. All right. The Libertarian Institute. Curtis goes full bore crazy. Next thing you know, I'll be quoting Alex Jones. It was not God that brought you here. It was Alex Jones what brought you here. And I doubt if two people even get the joke there. Roof Koreans. I did not even know anything about this. I feel like an uneducated adult. How civilians defended Koreatown from racist violence during the 92 LA riots by Sam Jacobs, June 12 of 2020. Wow, I'm surprised they've allowed this to stay up. It must be because they're not white. Oh, I said it. I said it out loud. Oh, no. Roof Koreans. Look at that, YouTube. People with pew-pews. Oh, no. The riots of the spring of 2020. Now, see, this is why the libertarians are bad. We all know those were peaceful protests. They were peaceful protests. Anyway, those riots are far from without precedent, and he's a libertarian, not a good writer. They're far from without precedent in the United States. I hate bad writing. The riots are not without precedent or have ample precedent. Okay. Indeed, they seem to happen once a generation at least. The 1992 LA riots are such an example of these generational riots. And while most people know about the riots, less known, though quite well known at the time, were the phenomenon of the so-called roof Koreans. How did I not know this? And what I loved about the LA riots in 92, they were called riots. They weren't called peaceful protests, because back then we knew the difference. We were okay with people being upset. We were okay with someone using their First Amendment right and peacefully assembling and protesting. But when that descends into violence and Molotov cocktails and fires being set, that is a riot. Words mean things. The Roof Koreans were spontaneous self-defense forces organized by the Korean community of LA. Good God, I could fall in love with LA again. And Korean women are hot. Anyway, primarily centered on Koreatown in response to violent and frequently racist attacks, because an attack, it doesn't have to be an attack on a white or black. It's racism if you're attacking someone because you hate their race. It is, but it isn't a matter of skin color. What I mean by that is you're a racist, whether you're white or black or whatever, if you attack someone out of hate because of their race. I'm just saying. In response to violent and frequently racist attacks on their communities and businesses by primarily black looters and rioters during the LA riots of 1992. Despite their best efforts, over 2,200 Korean-owned businesses were looted or burned to the ground. And think about this. You got this going on, and you still managed to burn down 2,200 businesses. That's not a peaceful protest. It is chilling to imagine how many would have suffered the same fate had the Koreans not been armed. It's a little thing called the Second Amendment. These are actual citizens, I'm assuming, mostly, so they have the right to bear arms. I'm just saying. Standing on the rooftops of Koreatown shops they and their families owned, clad not in body armor or tactical gear. This sounds like it was written today. Oh, yeah, it was 5 years ago. Close enough. But instead dressed like someone's nerdy dad, often smoking cigarettes, but always on alert. The Roof Koreans provide a stirring example of how free Americans of all races can defend their own communities without relying upon outside help. The Koreans of LA were the ultimate marginalized minority group. Again, I'm not meaning to be mean here, but just because you're black, there's other people who suffered too. Just saying. They were subject to discrimination, often victimized by the black community of the city. Due to language barriers and other factors, they lacked the political clout of other minority groups, such as the large Mexican community of LA County. And there are really great Mexicans in the community, so don't think I'm trying to paint with a broad brush. But again, if you are discriminating against a race, I no longer give a damn what your race is. You are a racist. Period. This in spite of their clear economic success in the city beginning in the 70s and 80s. Side note, I will never forget the Vietnamese immigrant that Dad and I, Dad had this get rich quick scheme, and he was buying like out of date milk and feeding it to his pigs. He had this idea he'd get very wealthy, and he might have, but unfortunately, too much of the money ended up buying cases of Budweiser and Keystone Light and stuff like that instead of food or investing back in the business. But I bring it up because one of the guys who helped us He worked for Gold Spot. He was a Vietnam, not veteran, but immigrant. He had escaped at the very end in 1975 and came to Oklahoma, of all places. Funny thing is, we talked to him and stuff. It turned out he had been a very wealthy man in Vietnam, but he barely escaped with his life. And now he worked this what you and I would consider a terrible job, moving rancid milk in the summer and talking to this dumbass farmer, and we'd make fun of his accent and stuff. I was a kid. I didn't know any better. The guy we weren't worthy of emptying the piss from his boot. The guy was amazing. He bought a pig from us once to celebrate a Vietnamese festival thing. That's the kind of immigrants that we honor. That's the kind that we respect. That's the kind that makes America great. He made Vietnam great. Vietnam didn't want him. We wanted communism. We wanted everyone to get the same results. Kick that mofo out. And so America got the benefit from him instead. I don't know. I hope he ended up getting wealthy again. But even if he didn't, he was alive. He was free. He was working hard to support his family. That's all a man really wants. That's all he really wants. The reasons for the tensions between the Korean and Black communities of LA predates the riots, which were largely just the match that ignited the powder keg that had been this region of LA for years. To understand what happened in Koreatown in 1992, it is necessary to understand much more than simply the Rodney King trial and the resulting riots. The roots of Korean business ownership in Black communities. How is it that the Korean American community of LA ended up owning so much property in what were largely Black neighborhoods? The answer, ironically, lies in a previous riot, the Watts Riot of 1965. This riot, which included 6 full days of arson and looting, was kicked off when a Black man was arrested for drunk driving. Now, I want to, in case you're thinking that I am against Blacks, and in case you're thinking that I'm against civil rights, please remember one of the big messages of Martin Luther King Jr. We must be peaceful. The riots will do nothing but cause more hate. We don't overcome hate with more hate. We overcome hate with love. His vision was the correct one. His vision is what led to more prosperity and more freedom for the Black. His vision was the one that led to more Blacks and whites marrying each other and working with each other and loving each other. The riots were just going to basically feed into the white supremacists. See, they're bad people. They don't deserve freedom. They can't handle freedom. We have to control them. Anyway, the riots occurred roughly at the same time that the Koreans started showing up in America. This meant that, among other things, businesses and real estate were very cheap to purchase. The newly arrived Korean immigrants began buying up the businesses that no one else wanted. By the 1980s, it wasn't limited to LA. Koreans were dominating mom and pop shops from coast to coast, but the resentment of the City of Angels was growing. Prologue, the death of Latasha Harlins. I don't know anything about this. While it was not the start of tensions in the city between these two communities, the killing of Latasha Harlins in 1991 certainly ratcheted the situation up to a new level. Harlins, whose personal life is a hard luck story that does not bear repeating here, which makes me wonder what's the story? I want to know. She was 15 at the time when she was shot and killed by Korean shopkeeper Soon Ja-doo, a 51-year-old woman born in Korea. Do generally didn't even work in the store, a task that typically fell on her husband and her son. However, that day she was covering for her husband, who was outside in the family's van. This is a weird story, but thank you for sharing it, Tim. This is putting the whole thing in a new light for me. Do claim that Harlan's was trying to steal a $1.79 bottle of orange juice, but witnesses said they heard Do call Harlan's a slur and heard Harlan say she planned to pay for the juice with money in hand. After reviewing videotape footage, the police agreed with witnesses. Video footage further showed Do grabbing Harlan's by her sweatshirt and backpack. Harlan's responded by striking Do twice, which knocked the latter to the ground. Harlan started to back away, prompting Do to throw a stool at her. And we all know we don't want people throwing stool at you. The two struggled over the juice before Harlan's went to leave. Do went behind the counter, grabbed a revolver, firing at a retreating Harlan's from behind from 3 feet away. Harlan's was killed instantly by a bullet to the back of the head. This is terrible. This is a terrible thing that happened. Please explain to me how rioting makes it any better. It doesn't bring her back. It doesn't make the races trust each other anymore. Please explain to me how rioting, I get the anger. I do. I really do. It's a thing called justice. Put Do on trial, convict her, and punish her according to the law. That's the answer. But then I also know that the law is not always great. That's a personal thing, though. Billy Hung Ki-do, Ja's husband, rushed into the store after hearing the gunshot. His wife asked where Harlan's was before she fainted. Mr. Do then called 911 to report an attempted holdup. So he comes in, probably not even knowing what happened, assuming that his wife was not BS crazy and didn't just commit second-degree homicide. Mrs. Do is charged with voluntary manslaughter, a charge that can carry up to 16 years in prison. At trial, she testified on her own behalf. The jury recommended the maximum sentence, which the judge rejected, instead giving Mrs. Do time served, 5 years probation, 500 hours of community service, and a $500 fine. And I would be curious to know, you guys in the chat, let me know. Does that sound like justice? Does that sound like an injustice? Because that, again, that was the answer. Have a trial, punish her according to the law. Should she have gotten that 16-year sentence? Should she have gotten possibly something in between these two? The California Court of Appeals upheld the sentence about a week before the riots began in a unanimous decision. Harlan's family received a settlement of $300,000. The case wasn't the first example of tensions between the two communities, but it was a microcosm for them, and perhaps the worst from the optics perspective. In 1991, the LA Times reported there were 4 shootings in the span of just over 4 months, involving a Korean shooter and a black target. The store, surprise, was eventually burned down during the riots, never to reopen. And you may believe that that's justice. I don't know. But I don't see that a riot is justice. That same year, there was an over 100-day boycott. Well, let me put it this way. I know somebody's had to have, I've not had this thought till just now, but I know there are more brilliant people than me. So I know somebody's had this thought. How is a riot of black people to punish Koreans any different from the Tulsa race riots? You have one race upset somebody in the other race did something. Let's burn it all down. And then you have the gall to sit there and say, well, you owe us reparations. I'll tell you what, I didn't give an opinion in my last stream, but I'll give one now. I will be happy to pay the Tulsa victims anything they want, provided that they then have to turn around and pay it to these Koreans. Because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Was what happened at Tulsa terrible? Yes. So was this. What's the difference? Other than skin color. I'm going to get caught up in the chat before I get like deleted scenes and yelling at everybody. I love you, deleted. I'm just pulling your leg. You're a great human being and great YouTube Ronin. PvP, they could come to a consensus together in the middle. Tim, yeah, I just went back and saw the clip. Nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so glad you shared this. I'm probably not doing a great job presenting it, but good God, this is great stuff. PvP liberals and conservatives could form committees to hammer out legislation. Government was better back then. Not perfect, but better than today. I would concur with that. PvP, instead of centrist politics, it's all far left or far right. Tim, oh heck no, little kids shouldn't see it. Suzanne, Curtis, I pulled my boy out of school years ago to make sure the values he would learn would be ours, not the government's. God bless you. And the point isn't your values may be completely different than mine, but the point is you are a family. You are raising that child. Therefore, your values should be something that child's learning. And when he's an adult, then he can make up his own mind. But while he's a child and really doesn't have much of a choice, unless someone is an abusive white supremacist, which I don't even suspect you of being, but unless they are in an abusive family, there's absolutely, the family needs to be the core of what they're learning from. Oh, hey, and Natasha, hello. She's loving this. I'm glad that you do. I know that I'm probably weird, but anyway, there it is. Welcome, Natasha. She's over there on Rumble. She's been listening to all this stuff, going, what in the name is all this crazy crap? And it's just me being me, being a little more me than usual, but accounting sheep. Asians also tend to have some non-politically correct views on race, and they do. Let's just be blunt. The Japanese, they have I've dated a Japanese woman. She was amazing. Oh my God, she was beautiful. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. They do have, as a race, they have a tendency to think that they're the stuff. And it is the way it is. Gorillas, ham thoughts. I'm way too early. It's not that I'm way too early. I just don't know how the heck to set up a Rumble stream. I really thought I'd put this in for 2:00 because I wanted to have it early enough that I'm done by the time everyone else is doing their streams, but late enough that if I slept in or something happened, I would still get it together, sort of. Suzanne laughing my tail off. What is it when you hate your own race? There's probably a punchline that I'm going to laugh my tail off when I hear it, but I thought that was being a Democrat. Okay, sorry. White Democrats. Lizzie Armstrong, I filmed lots of peaceful protests, including protests about the Rainbow Warrior. Gorillas is being censored. I'm just going to have to delete not StreamYard, but Stream Elements, because I'm almost certain there's more people being censored more often. And I don't want that. Counting Sheep said the same thing. I think that's called liberalism. Accounting Sheep, I hope I'm not a conservative. If I was just on Rumble, I would share the Frisbee song, We're All Right Wing Now. If I could figure out how to do it, I'm going to end on YouTube at some point and just go to Rumble and go to town. But anyway, PvP, if you want your blood to run cold, type in drag queen story time at library and YouTube search. It's absolutely horrifying. I know I've talked way too much about my liberal friends. I probably, in my own mind, I've accused myself, and possibly rightfully so, of being a bad friend for talking too much about them. And I've tried to say less about them because, well, I mean, for all kinds of reasons. But I think the very first time I started to get worried about them, one of my friends was posting on Facebook because they were very reasonable, very intelligent, very sane people till about 2020. And that seems to me like that's when both sides, you could argue whatever you wanted, but there was no longer a side, I felt, that was on the rails. Everyone had gone off the rails on the crazy train. And the guy I considered my best friend at the time, he'd posted on Facebook that he would rather drag queens read to the children than that conservatives should censor books in schools. This was my very first what the hell is this moment. Because to me, it's not a matter of, the conservatives are censoring books. To me, those are mutually exclusive things. We can hate them both. We can say they're both stupid. But evidently, no longer can we do that. It's either let's keep pouring out of our kids' libraries, or let's allow drag queens to read to them and essentially, because let's face it, I'm sorry, I may be naive, but I'm not that naive. There probably are, look, I've gotten to know more people in that community, so I'm going to back up a little bit. There probably are some drag queens that are safe. But the trouble is, I'm not that enlightened. All I know about you is that you are a drag queen reading a book to kids. So the only piece of information I've got about you is that you have a thing that you do because you want a sexual gratification. And you're doing that thing while reading to children. So if this is literally the only piece of information I've got about you, you may otherwise be a saint. You may not ever be willing to hurt a child for any reason. You just get off wearing women's clothes. And you know what? If that really is your only, I'm not even going to call it a flaw, but if that is the only thing that I as a Christian can wag my finger at for you, God bless you then. But that's the only information I know about you. That's the only information I know about you. But I also know that I have a job as a man, as a United States citizen, as an adult. I have a God-given right and mandate and duty to protect children. And therefore, I do not care what makes your dick swell. I don't care. but I don't want you hurting children. So unless you can tell me and prove to me that these people are vetted, they would never hurt children, that's really not what they're all about, I don't want you reading to our kids. So when my friend posted this on Facebook, a big chunk of the respect just shattered. And then more things like that happen. And I'm sure he probably thinks the same thing the other way. I'm totally off topic now, but it is a similar topic. Why am I up in arms about the riots? If it was just adults being hurt, you know what? Fine, LA, knock yourselves out. You're over there. But I don't want children hurt. Gorilla says, check X, might need to reword a little since YouTube is running cover. Ooh, you're probably right. Let's see what's going on X. I really just wanted to do this one on Rumble because I really want to just unleash one of these days. They need to start. Okay, so Gorillas is being censored, and he's sharing on X. They need to start charging people with the same thing that certain people were charged with 5 years ago, starting with Newsom, Bass, Waters, and certain organizations. And then, yeah, I see what you said there. I'm not going to share that on YouTube, but I kind of get what you're saying. I can't. You're right. I can't say that on YouTube, but I get what you're saying. PvP. Some parents seem to think putting their innocent, impressionable kids in front of breasted, overweight men in dresses is teaching them about love and tolerance. And you know what? If they want to do that, that's fine. But what about the kids? What about my kids? My kids aren't going there. Of course, mine's a grown up now, but that's neither here nor there. And did I say hi to you before? I did say hi to you, Gorillas. And I've not thanked him. This gentleman's the guy who made the intro song. So if you like my intro song, this is the guy. He wrote it. He designed it. He put it out. This is the guy. So between him and Accounting Sheep, if you want music done, they are the go-to people for that. And check out his channel. He's got some great commentary. He's got fun cigar lounges where he and PvP and Mikey Susie 4. Who am I missing here? Resolute Germ. Lots of people come out and hang out. Suzanne goes and hangs out there. I don't know why she's so classy, but I'm just being a jerk. I mean, not that you're not classy, you are, but sometimes I'm like, what is she doing here? Tim, my mom worked with someone who was, along with her husband, who was in the South Vietnamese military, got one of the last planes out, nothing but what they could grab from home. Yeah, that's what happened with these people. They had their lives and their clothes and just not much else. PvP what it's doing is indoctrinating them into a fringe, degenerate lifestyles by attempting to normalize it. And that was the term, and it's just not quite still the term, but grooming. That's the term I'm trying to find. I am sorry. Maybe I am the one that's in the wrong. Maybe I am a homophobe, but I'm scared to death that that's what's going on. And maybe I shouldn't make this distinction, but I'm actually okay with a gay person in quasi-normal clothes reading to these kids. Maybe I am too naive, but I'm willing to say, okay, maybe this person just happens to be gay and happens to like to read. I'm straight and happen to like to read. I would actually love to volunteer to read to kids. I don't want people thinking that I'm trying to do something lewd and lascivious. But I guess, and again, it may be me, but I'm not open-minded enough to think this person in drag is okay with. Again, if you can show me that they've been vetted, you know, it doesn't work for me. And there's not a I would rather have that than this. I would rather my kids be safe. Period. PvP, before anyone thinks I'm being homophobic, I'm not. I know a gay fellow when I was at art school. We weren't friends, but we had occasional chats in between classes. He was a very funny guy. I was largely homophobic until about 10 or 15 years ago. I'm not going to go too deep into it. And I know I haven't had any homosexual experiences, but let's just say I got to know more people in that community. I've worked with some of them. And I mean, unless you want to count their sexuality, and I don't want to get into that debate, unless you want to count their sexuality, they were good people. They were hardworking, and they were honest, and they were kind, and they treated me with respect. And I felt like they deserved respect. So no, I'm not. At least my intent isn't to be homophobic. Maybe it's the result. But like the people I'm talking about, I would have zero problem with them reading to kids in a library. They want to have sex with people of their own sex, but they want to have sex with adults of their own sex. So you know what? I don't want to have anything to do with it, but if that's what you want to do and that makes you both happy, God bless you. I know there's probably some people out, oh my gosh, Curtis, God doesn't bless them. I don't know. I don't know if God blesses them or not. But if you're not hurting me and you two are happy, I feel I have no place to judge. But if you're hurting kids, and again, let me stress, I'm not talking about people that would ever hurt a kid. I've talked to them and worked with them enough. I'm pretty sure they would never intentionally hurt a kid, and they would never hurt a kid in a sexual way, ever. But, and again, maybe I'm the one that's wrong, but when it comes to drag queens, I need to know at least know more about you than just you're a drag queen. With just that information, my default is going to be, no, don't read to the kids. We'll get someone else. We'll even get another gay person, but not you. I'm sorry. Resolute Germ, it was the customer's fault. Yeah, that was a weird story, and I need to finish it soon. Accounting sheep. Boo! I think the whole incident was much ado about nothing. PvP. He told me once how he experienced hate walking down the street by dudes in a car following him and throwing out hateful insults. He had to run into a store to get away from it. And I definitely don't want that either. And again, there's probably people who disagree with me, and I get it. Maybe I shouldn't say I get it, but I was raised homophobe, so I understand it. But I don't want a world where gays can't feel safe. I do not want them thrown off of roofs of buildings. My dad, I love and respect the guy in a lot of ways, but he did terrible, terrible, terrible things in the 50s. Because back then, if someone was gay, it was just socially acceptable to do terrible things to them. I do not ever want to go back to something like that. I just because you want to put your thing in someone else's other thing, that should not mean that you should be an outlaw or persona non grata. Again, I have different thoughts about it. I don't want you doing it in front of me. But if that's what the two of you want to do in the privacy of your homes, not my business. You're paying the bills. Resolute Germ, even that was too much. The lady was trying to steal from her. PvP, when I was in grade school, we'd start class in the morning reciting the Lord's Prayer and singing God Save the Queen. See, when I grew up, we would say the Pledge of Allegiance. And at least for a while, we did say the Lord's Prayer. That stopped, I want to say, in 6th or 7th grade. And then there was one atheist, and he wasn't a bad person, but because, honestly, it wasn't even litigation. It was just the school wanted to respect his beliefs, so they stopped saying the prayers. And I think later they went to a thing where you just had a moment of silence. And if you wanted to pray silently, knock yourself out. If you wanted to meditate, if you just wanted to think about whatever it is atheists think about to inspire themselves, it was all good. And JPRPH1 saying hello to Natasha. Something about the Sex Pistols version. I'm not sure I got that one, but you know what? I have been kind of in a weird mood today. Hopefully no women cross my path. I need to be good. PvP is saying, I had a best friend at art school. He was Asian. We didn't know each other when we met at Emily Carr College of Art and Design. We met as we both got jobs at school part-time. Oh, John Ponterera quoted part of Ohio. Yes. And it got censored? What? I've got to delete stream. And we've got to do more stuff on Rumble. I don't mean to be horrible to the people who haven't signed up for Rumble, but please do, or at least consider it. Because when we can do stuff over there, we can talk about all this stuff. Maybe I won't make a ton of money, but at least I won't be getting these nasty grams. You are having harmful material. Resolute Germ, your friend sounds like a dumbass. I'm not sure what that's in response to. I lost something somewhere. You're talking about my liberal friend. He's not a dumbass. That's the trouble. I don't know what's happened. I don't understand it. And they probably think the same thing about me. It's like Elon Musk calls it the woke mind virus. And I think there is something to it because, again, I have had changes in thought. I hope I'm moving closer to enlightenment and not further. I'm absolutely okay with people within a certain amount of reason anyway, being more open-minded and being more about exploring things and what have you. I'm all about liberty. I'm very close to being a libertarian. I just think that the libertarians maybe take it, I hate to put it this way, but sometimes I think they take it too far. Because going back to the statement by Thomas Jefferson, if men were angels, we wouldn't need government. But we're not angels. We riot. We burn each other's cars. We shoot our customers. Therefore, we need government. I do think that all things being equal, the less government, the better. The more freedom, the better. But until we are perfect human beings, we can't have perfect liberty. I hate saying that. I have a visceral reaction to saying that. But looking at life practically, it's true. PvP. We both went to a meeting to get information about our jobs. We got talking, realized we were from the same hometown. We also realized their parents knew each other. Synchronicity. Yes. And John Ponterero, Excuse me, I'm going to mute my microphone for just a second here. Sorry, I didn't want to cough into the microphone again. John Ponderera is saying, R.I.P. Sly Stone. Please tell me you don't mean Sylvester Stallone, but still, whoever's passed away, I am sorry about it. Tim says he puts on women's clothing and hangs around in bars. Tim, Curtis, you said duty. Resolute Germ, you can call it a flaw. I'd use stronger language, but you can use flaw. In my heart, I feel it to be a flaw. And maybe that's me being bad. Because I also have a visceral reaction toward feeling judgmental about some things anyway. When it comes to someone wanting to wear the clothes of the opposite sex, there's so much that can be said. For example, virtually every culture has had very little problem with a woman wearing a man's clothes, but a man wearing woman's clothes is, you get a visceral reaction to that. And I could probably say visceral 20 more times in 15 different ways. But and possibly it's maybe the hang up of my own homophobic, because my upbringing was homophobic. Dad, I literally can't say the things that he used to say. One, because YouTube will ding it, but two, I think even some of the best, some of the most right-wing people in here might still be upset by the things that Dad used to say about gay people. And again, I'm no longer there. I still feel scorn in my heart if I see a man wearing a skirt, but at the same time, it's not right. In my view, it's not right to physically harm him or threaten him just for that. That's just my 2 cents. And Accounting Sheep has one of the best responses here. He is a lumberjack and he's okay. Tim says, I know someone who I work with who is a drag king. Well, she is a drag king. Well, I'm not meaning to be lascivious, but tell me, is that person safe to have around children? I'll be honest, the gay people I know about that I say are safe around children, most of them are women. Most of them are lesbians. And some of them are hot, and it kind of makes me sad. But anyway, that's my own selfishness talking there. PvP, we became good friends for the 2 years at school. He introduced me to cool things like David Lynch movies, Victoria punk band No Means No. Tim says, as far as I know, she's a good person. PvP is sharing something. A certain special something. I'll try to click on it later. Maybe. I don't know. Where am I at? I've got caught up in I'm just descended into culture casino realm. I'm just doing the chat. Lizzie Armstrong, Curtis got a master's in political science after your name. Then you can write books. It's I've thought about that. I really have. I would love to go back to school, and because I was 16 hours away from having my degree. And then since then, some of the hours have become obsolete or whatever. So I'm about 20 hours away. Resolute Germ is not a supporter of love and tolerance. Well, I'm willing to listen. So, because again, we've got to make it safe for people of differing views to be able to talk. So, and let's put it this way. It depends on what you mean. If you mean by love, like actual love, where you actually care about people, then I probably disagree with you. But if what you mean by love is what some people call love, in other words, all I really care about you is that I want to, bang you. To me, that's not love. That's lust. And again, if the other person's happy with it, not my business. But there's a difference. The ancients knew this. Even the so-called, like the Greeks and the Romans, who were 100% fine with homosexuality. They had almost zero problem with it. But they still understood distinctly there is a big difference between I want to bang the crap out of you and, yeah, I might want to bang you, but you know what? I'd also like to protect you and take care of you and want to spend time with you. There's a big difference between those two things. And I'm pretty sure you know that. I'm not meaning to be all condescending. I'm just making commentary. PvP, their best album for me was the first song about a zombie apocalypse. And Lizzie Armstrong, PhD, Dr. Curtis, political commentary, and a nice singer. You know, I'm glad you say that, but the other day I re-listened and I don't know if it was the recording or if it's just that my voice is not as cool as I think it is. I listened to some of my songs and I was like, oh, she likes that. Oh, there must be something wrong with her hearing. But love you. You're good people. Suzanne is laughing at me. It's okay. You can laugh at me. Suzanne is sharing something. Check out Gorilla's channel. There's that wrench being applied the right way. Love you, love you, love you. Lizzie Armstrong, Red Gum, my friend John Schumann. I was only 19. I'm not sure what the context is there. I've been describing banging people, so I mean, it's okay if you're wanting to reminisce, but I don't know what's going on here. But you're good people, so I'm going to assume that it's just my confusion. Tim is saying, Resolute Germ, I try to tolerate people. There are limits to it, and there are. That's the deal. There are limits. And that is reasonable. The discussion is where's that reasonable limit? Because my idea of reasonable is almost certainly at least a little different than your idea. So how do we find, how do we build a society? How do we get that, somehow the truth of it is somewhere between where Tim stands and where Curtis stands. And Kurdistan is a very interesting country. They like to, they like to eat with goats in the family and things. It's a really cool place. PvP, I wonder if a kid coming home after drag queen reading will ask daddy when he's going to start wearing a dress. Yeah. I mean, isn't it? Let's put it this way. Maybe I'm misunderstanding your statement, and forgive me if I am, but shouldn't the father and the mother, maybe the aunts and uncles, maybe someone at the church, although, I know there's been complications there too, but shouldn't they be the ones to explain, hey, women wear these things, men wear these things, and the reason is because of, there are differences, and some of it's societal, but some of it is just we are different. Women, all things being equal, they want to be pretty, and they want to be, they want to draw attention to how pretty they are. Men, on the other hand, we want to do things, and I'm not saying women don't, but we want to be praised because we did this thing and we have this wife and we protect our family. And because I'm a man, you can rehear it in my voice. I've got that prejudice to the male side of it. But they're both really, in the end of the day, they're both equal. They're both necessary. They're both beautiful when they find that way to work together. And sadly, all too often, instead, we want to beat each other up. You're so vain. You have to have this $200 dress. Wah, wah, wah. You know, so Whiskey Flats, you're not homophobic. No one needs to be teaching kids anything about sex. That is abuse. See, that is kind of where I tend to go with this. You know, again, I don't know exactly where the line should be, but I definitely feel like third and fourth grade, it's too young, I think. You know, and I know what people say, well, they're going to hear about it anyway. Yeah, I heard about sex when I was a third grader. That was when I first heard about it. But at the same time, I don't know that the school telling me stuff about it would have made me less confused. I think all it really would have done would have been, in my case, because for even now, I've got this probably idiotic sense of wonder about sex. You know, I don't want to get too much into the details, but a woman letting me into her life and so on is a beautiful thing. It's a mystery. It's magic. School teaching about sex, that ain't magic. There ain't nothing special there. It's like a mechanical, empty, soulless thing. And I had plenty of that kind of crap thrown around. The fact is, when I look back on it, how I still have this way of thinking about sex baffles me. I'm completely baffled. I don't know if it means I'm a great person or if it just means I really am that stupid. But anyway, I think there should still, that's one of the things I have against all this. It doesn't seem like an openness. It feels like a denigration of the specialness of it. Instead of, to me, it's like just the willingness. And don't get me wrong, I've had my share of partners. I've had more than my share of partners. If I wanted to sound braggadocious, I could say things that some of you would be like, yeah, sure, Curtis. Like, okay, for example, I dated a Japanese woman. I dated a Native American woman. All of that can sound braggadocious. But where I'm going with this is, it's great to have all these partners, but there's just a little bit of that specialness that goes away each time. And I think that we lose something as a culture. I don't want to get too up in arms about it because I don't want to go back to let's stone women who have sex with more than one man. And I don't want to go back to that. But I think our culture loses something when it loses the specialness and the magic and the mystery of sex and love and romance. I'm probably full of crap. Resolute Germ is probably right. Open-mindedness is overrated. Suzanne says, Tim, absolutely agree with you on that 100%. What did Tim say again? I tolerate people, but there are limits. Yes. Counting Sheep now asked the left if they're okay with a Jesus impersonator reading to kids. Yeah. There was a thing on Twitter the other day. What if, okay, I won't share the meme, but I'll share the idea. Let's say that teachers are baptizing children and they're saying, hey, Jesus is the light and the way, and if you don't accept Jesus, you are going to hell. But they don't tell the parents. They don't get their permission, and if the parents don't like it, they can get stuffed. Is it not at least a similar principle? Let me know in the comments, because evidently I'm just reading the comments right now. I'm having too much fun with it. PvP, unfortunately, seems the extreme fringe of gay folk seems to have taken over their community's agenda. Once again, like politics, the extreme becomes the norm. Yeah, if the people that I discussed earlier, if that was the norm, I really would have pretty much zero problem with the homosexual community. Because if they were all like that, I would have no problem because they don't hurt anybody. Suzanne, Tim says, Suzanne, there are people at work I have issues with, but I tolerate them. Suzanne says, what goes on in your bedroom is your business. It's between you and God. Touch my kid, I'll send you to me, Jesus. Yes, Suzanne, 100%. PvP, just imagine if they had a priest reading to kids, there would be protests. Accounting sheep, unless it's a feminist woman priest, PvP. Suzanne, yep, anyone who does that. Whiskey Flat, sword fighting is okay if both swords are the same age. Yes, 100%. You should be impressed I got that one. What the heck did I just do? I don't know what I'm doing. Lizzie likes sword dancing. All right. John is the 4 in Ohio. Okay. I need to listen to this group, I guess, because I'm not getting some of these jokes. PvP, one atheist had the right to deny the rights of every other student to say the Lord's Prayer. Doesn't sound like he respected their rights. And, you know, it's a delicate situation. You know, was that the correct thing? I honor my school for being respectful of him, but yeah, it is a question. Did he have the right to say how he felt? 100%. Does he have the right to stop all of them? I think that is a different question, and I'm not sure I have the answer. Whiskey Flats, are we talking about the same kind of swords, Lizzie? I don't think she is, Whiskey. Be nice to her. She's good people. And she has a really cool bird, and she likes Cassie, and she's Australian. Accounting sheet, please don't exclude those of us who only carry a dagger. Yeah, thank you. PvP, maybe your friend went woke. I think the mind virus did influence him anyway. I remember when I made a song about how Disney destroyed Star Wars. And I need to put that to music one of these days. Anyway, he told me to take the word woke out of it. That was another thing that kind of bothered me at the time, because it's like, to me, if you have a problem with that word, that means you've picked a side. And it's okay that you've picked a side, but please don't tell me that you haven't, or that you picked a different side, when it's pretty obvious you did pick the other side. Resledger, the woke mind virus is real. It's called communism. It's a mental disorder. You sound like Michael Savage. Lizzie Armstrong, Whiskey, I'm a dancer. Ooh, we had to learn a Scottish dance. Swords are laid on the floor. The dance, you can see it on YouTube, though that's not me in the kilt. I write extensively about history. Say more things like that, Lizzie. I'm going to get in trouble. Whiskey Flats, I'm very familiar with Scottish and Irish dance. He is. And sadly, he looks good in a kilt, and I'm not jealous of him at all. Whiskey. Connie Cleary is clearing things up. Sly Stone of Sly and the Family Stone group. See, I didn't even know who we were talking about. I still don't really. I need to look that up, but not just yet. I need to finish the article. Okay, I'm going to read 3 more comments and then go back to the article. Lizzie Armstrong, honors degree in international relations and politics and family, long time in indigenous right and peace. Wow. Holy crap. Intelligent people. Wow. I love intelligence. Which is another thing. The people I'm talking about, I scored very highly on the ACTs. And I've met some people who've outscored me. Don't get me wrong, but I can still count on, even in this community, I think I can count on my hands and toes anyway, the number of people who have higher IQs. These people had one of those people and others who matched. So they weren't stupid people, but yet they were falling for things that I still feel were fairly childish traps. Anyway, I'm getting off the topic really badly. PvP woke is not open-minded, though. And this is my issue with it. If it really does mean open-mindedness, then I'm okay with it. But they hate traditional Western values. They hate our culture. Look at all the franchises they have destroyed in recent years. Whiskey Flats, it's fine until you introduce it to the children. And he's talking about the other kind of sword dancing, not the legit kind. Reslet Germ, you had a proper upbringing. I did not, but I still have respect for those that did. And I think that the proper upbringing, I'm sorry, there's reasons why we call it a proper upbringing. Lizzie Armstrong, lovely whiskey. I love Irish dancing. It lifts me up above the storm. Whiskey, you know why it's called a kilt? I don't. PvP, hey, what about kilts? They may take our freedom, but they cannot take our dresses. Good one. In fact, I nominate that for comment of the stream right there. We'll see if it wins out in the end. Lizzie Armstrong, lovely whiskey. I love Irish dancing. Oh, she said it twice. Or maybe I went back. Whiskey Flats is making a joke here. Don't ding us, YouTube. But I'm still going to say it. The last person that got it, called it a skirt, got killed. Ha-ha! That is why PvP is sharing something. Why is it called a kilt? Have 6 meters of Armstrong tartan. Wow. Okay, I'm going back to the article. All right. The Rodney King verdict. Now I have to read it in Scottish. Thank you very much. The riots begin. Okay, it may not be Scottish, but it's some kind of weird amalgamation of all the different English type accents. The other relevant background story is the trial of Rodney King. This was what touched off the LA riots. The short version of the story is that Rodney King led the police on a high-speed chase going up to 115 miles per hour. I didn't understand why the police would have any issue with that. He was evading them because he was driving while under the influence and was on parole at the time. His 2 passengers were loaded into the squad car first, with King exiting the car last. Here we have images of Koreans with pew-pews, almost certainly an image that the YouTubers will not like. The other relevant background story, I already read that. King was beaten for approximately 2 minutes straight on a 12-minute tape recorded by a nearby civilian. He was also tased. King repeatedly attempted to get up despite instructions to stay down. There is a Rodney King down. I repeat, a Rodney King is down. I know, I probably shouldn't joke about it. Officers later testified they believed he was on PCP at the time, but his toxicology test ruled this out. The tape became a national sensation. And then Chief Daryl Gates described himself as being in disbelief when he saw the tape. I thought I'd train them how to beat people better than that. Okay, that's not what he said. 4 of the 5 officers on the scene were charged. The jury, which contrary to popular belief was not all white, but did not include any black members, acquitted the 4 officers on assault, acquitted 3 of them on excessive force, and resulted in a hung jury on the 4th charge after 7 days of deliberation. I see. At 5 p.m., after the verdicts were announced, Mayor Tom Bradley gave a press conference interpreted by many, including Assistant LA Police Chief Bob Vernon, as effectively giving permission to riot. Vernon stated that police incidents increased noticeably after the mayor's statement. The event credited with touching off the riots was the arrest of 16-year-old Sendell Daniels at 71st and Normandy. Talk about your Norman invasion. In south central LA, the rioters began attacking Koreatown on the second full day of rioting. It's the same logic as Mein Kampf. You've hurt my people, so let's destroy that group of people. Got it. All right. Let's look a little bit more at the chat. Connie Clear, some of the people I know in the gay community are great with kids. See, the lesbians that I'm talking about, to be fair, I've never seen them around kids. I'm just extrapolating from the interactions I've had with them that I think they would be great with kids. So there it is. To be honest, I'm pretty naive, so if they had never told me, I'd probably never know that they were lesbians, But anyway, Lizzie Armstrong, I can help you with that. Curtis, are you going to get credits from your other degree? Yeah, I could. I've thought about it. I need to do it. Whiskey Flats and I have talked about that I need to be looking into finishing it up. We can sing together one time. Hey, that would be great. You need to come on the whatchamacallit, the karaoke one night. We'll figure out a duet. I'll try to sing quiet because you probably have the better voice. PvP, love should be about building a good life with your mate, family, and society. Building a strong culture and country. Now many want to dismantle those values. Lizzie Armstrong. No, that was from our talk on protest and conflict. I was only 19 way back in the chat. I made that comment, sweetie. Oh, the children, I can talk about that another time. Okay. Oh, okay. So there's a protest when you were 19. Gotcha. PvP Church Complications would be a great punk band name. It really would. Now I wish I knew how to play an instrument. And I wish I could sing punk music. That would be great. California, Uber Alice. Okay, that's as close as I get. Lizzie, I have plenty to say about children being a survivor that would make your hair stand up. I know. Suzanne says, what's sexy to me is a man that can hunt. Ooh, I can hunt. Liverwurst in the grocery store. John Ponderera, tornado warning just popped up here. Not used to seeing those here in Erie. Yeah, they got tired of pounding Oklahoma. They thought you needed some equal time. And yes, Suzanne is correct. All joking aside, please stay safe. Hey, I've got all three of my Patreon supporters here today. I've got Whiskey Flats, I've got Connie Cleary, and I've got John Ponderero. So this is great. I have put some of the writing that I've done on sale. I put it up for $3 because I have no idea what the appropriate price should be. And Patreon wouldn't let me go less than $3. I was going to do it for like $2.50 or something like that. So if y'all don't want to be paid members, but you still want to read it, so it's not the whole thing, but about 3 short segments are for sale on my Patreon page for $3. So, accounting sheep, women wearing dresses because they want to look pretty. Men wear pants because we don't want to get arrested. Is that why I got arrested? Crap. I thought wearing underwear would be enough. PvP, Curtis is about feminine and masculine traditionality for many centuries. Men and women dressed in a traditional way. Fashions change, but it was still about being masculine and feminine. Yeah, Lizzie, look at the French court. Astonishing fashion. PvP sex ed in grade 6 for me was them showing outdated animated films that made us laugh. We didn't learn much. The only bit of sex ed that we got in our very conservative school, I think I was a sophomore in high school. They talked about it in biology. So, yeah, I'd already quote unquote known. And it's surprising how little you really know about sex till you actually do it. But yeah. Whiskey, they're freaking out here in Oklahoma because the state superintendent is wanting a Bible in the school to be available for reference. Yes, there's lots of freakiness going on there. PvP school should teach math, English, geography, etc. Social agenda stuff should be excluded. And look, were we not just upset as crap with Russia when they had political officers in their military? They had political officers in their school making sure that everything was politically correct. How is that any different from the DEI stuff that my left-wing friends support? Well, you don't want the equality of the races. Yes, I do. I want people punished who discriminate. But I don't want somebody at any school or any organization telling me that I have to think a certain way. PvP, send them to Jesus, another great punk band name. And Big Al Presents. We are getting all the great creators. All we're missing is Troy Netter and Deleted and maybe Orville Nation and a few others, and we will have a full house. Welcome, welcome. This is a wonderful gentleman here. He's the founder of the 10-Word Review. And they're actually good reviews. And but he's also not just one of these people that will just basically like, I don't want to name names, but there are YouTubers that basically, if you know the political agenda, you already know what they think. Big Al's not this way. If he enjoys it, he just enjoys it and lets you know why. And it rarely has anything to do with politics at all. It has something to do with the film or the script or the acting. Please check out Big Al Presents. Also, he does some amazing watch parties. We did, I think it was a different channel, but you were co-hosting Frequency the other day. One of my favorite films. I haven't seen it in, gosh, at least a decade. Love that film. He often shares the films that I either should have watched or should have watched more recently. So Big Al is more of a Viking axe guy. See, now there's something I know about. Not much though. PvP, the rights of the atheist one outweighed the needs of the many. That's the lesson you should be getting, PvP. You should be listening to more of your Vulcan friends. The rights of the atheist outweigh the needs of the many. PvP. Oh, yeah, I know that's a Wrath of God reference. PvP, what happens in the bedroom should stay in the bedroom unless you're on OnlyFans, which I have yet to visit. I just reference back to, I think there should be something special about it. Don't get me wrong. I will probably have at least one or two more quote unquote inappropriate relationships again. But I still want that. I want that to be between us. I don't want anyone else involved or knowing or having anything to do with it. To just want her, me. That's it. Counting sheep, what happens in the shower stays in the shower. Hell yes, indeed. Curtis is channeling Sean Connery. We shall, in fact, channel Sean Connery. You know, Suzanne, I don't want anybody else. When I think about you, I touch myself. Hopefully that one won't And that was the moment Suzanne ran away and blocked me. PvP excessive farce explains so many things. Why does Curtis' Scottish impression sound like Brezhnev? I ask myself that many times. PvP says it's not about being gay. They're trying to indoctrinate children into a deviant culture. If drag queens were to do their shows for adults, I have no problem. These are impressionable kids. Indeed, indeed. Oh, I have 4? Well, hell, I'm full of crap. What did I miss? Did you sign up? I know you, well, let me look. This is what happens when you don't take care of your business. See, that's why he has a Horatius poem and I have a voracious group of people who end up feeling neglected because I'm a big dummy. How do I even look up where my audience? Maybe? Audience? Doobie. Hey, look, Accounting Sheep. Ooh, God bless Accounting Sheep. I have 4 paid members on Patreon. This is a great day. I have completely lost my Sean Connery, but I have 4 paid Patreon members. So, there. PvP, if half the guys shopping wore dresses and it was normal, then I'd say it's okay. But society says it's not. We have political officers too. They're called HR. Yes, indeed. Okay, I'm going to get back to the article. Koreatown gets attacked during the 1992 LA riots. Koreans began moving to LA in large numbers after the passage of the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, a radical departure from previous immigration laws that dramatically changed the demographic character of the nation, including LA. Many Koreans opened successful businesses in the area, but incurred resentment and racism from Black residents. And I'm going to criticize the article here a little bit. I'm sure it was from other, I'm sure there were whites that resented it too. But anyway, it's documented in popular culture at the time, such as the Do the Right Thing and Ice Cube's Black Korea off of Death Certificate. Ooh. So, Kanye came out with a song. If I was on only Rumble, I would talk about it right now, but I can't. When the riots spread throughout the city, the LAPD blocked roads going through Koreatown into more affluent neighborhoods. This was seen by many residents as a containment that effectively left Koreatown residents trapped inside the riot zone. What's more, the police and other first responders ignored the pleas for help coming from within Koreatown. Of course they did. Of the nearly $1 billion, $1 billion in damages done during the riots, over half of it was done to Korea-owned businesses. This is where I get my Rumble thumbnail from, a courtesy of Tim, some there are who call him Tim, who shared it with me on Facebook. The Korean community of LA did not simply sit by and allow their neighborhood and businesses to be destroyed by rioters without lifting a finger. On the contrary, the images of Korean shopkeepers and their families defending themselves from the rooftops of their buildings soon became one of the most iconic images of the riots. How did I miss that? Somehow either this didn't make it to Oklahoma or I was too busy just being a depressed wastoid at the time. I remember, about the only thing I really remember from that time was watching Claudia Christian and Hexed. Yeah. Anyway, talk about iconic images. Live footage of gun battles were circulated on cable news and elsewhere, yet we can't show pew-pews on YouTube. The images still resonate with freedom lovers to this day. What image could be more powerful than an ethnic minority refusing to subject itself to a pogrom, instead taking to the rooftops to defend themselves with deadly force if necessary? For firearms collectors, YouTube, that's an adult way of saying pew-pews. The Roof Koreans present another avenue of interest. They use many cool weapons. Oh, I love the way that's written. They use many cool weapons that largely left the market after the assault weapons, the pew-pew ban of 1994 was passed. I don't even know if YouTube will let me say the names of these pew-pews. But these pew-pews are just two of the weapons used by the Roof Koreans alongside more standard weapons, such as the Pew-Pew K1, standard issue of the Republic of Korea's military. The Republic of Korea's military is another key part of the story with regard to the Roof Koreans. Far from an untrained mob of men who took up with arms sans training, the Roof Koreans were, by virtually any definition, a well-regulated militia. Many of them had experience in the South Korean army, as South Korea has conscription with very few exceptions. It's worth noting that virtually every weapon used by the Roof Koreans to defend themselves, their businesses, their communities, and their families would be against the law, or at least highly restricted today. High-capacity magazines, anything over 10 rounds, are currently against the law, or they were at the time of this writing. I'm sure they still are. Whiskey Flats, you'll have to let me know. You know more about that. There's a 10-day waiting period for all firearms purchases. So if you're in the middle of the riot, it's too late. You should have got your pew-pew before. As the not-so-quiet riot lasted 5 days, this would have put anyone who had not already purchased a pew-pew in a seriously precarious position. The libertarian, I'm adding that word, the libertarian lessons of the Roof Koreans. Kurt Schlichter, who I have no idea who that is, was in Inglewood at the time of the riots, one of the hardest hit areas. He speaks eloquently on the topic of the Roof Koreans, or rooftop Koreans, as he calls them, and the need of communities to defend themselves. His account of defending LA against the riots is worth reading, despite the fact that he was not in Koreatown. He makes the case that it is not just wise, but the responsibility of all Americans to prepare themselves to such events. And while he would not go so far as himself to suggest that people ought to be legally required to prepare for such an event, we do agree with him that everyone is their own first responder. If CODIS Fact Search was here, he would be amening nearly all of this. More than that, there's a solid argument to be made that we have a duty to our community, to prepare for those times when individual defense is not enough, but a common defense is necessary. The Roof Koreans provide a perfect real-life counter-argument to the idiotic question of pew-pew grabbers that free men justify why they need certain arms to defend themselves. And yeah, you can find some dumb redneck that sounds stupid. If our government invades, I'll need that pew-pew. Well, what if it ain't the government? What if it's just a bunch of your neighbors that hate you because of the color of your skin? You have no right to defend yourself from a horde of angry, whatever race, white, black. Nah, you should just let yourself die. You should have, it's your fault because, you were there. If ever anyone needed a fully automatic rifle with a 100-round magazine, it was the Korean community of Los Angeles. Thank you, Tim, so much for sharing that. It might have been a little bit off the topic, but not really that much. That was really well. That was really salient to the topic. Thank you so much for sharing it. Big Owl is thanking me. PvP here is the greatest song about free will ever written by Rush. Okay, I'm gonna at least get that one ready because I might here in a bit try to go off and just be on Rumble and see if that works. And it may not, because like life sucks sometimes. Okay, I'm gonna share this first though. So PvP shared this. And I have been a bad person. I haven't watched it yet, but I just think that Jasmine Lane is so pretty. I mean, or whoever that is, that this is the icon. So I'm assuming this is her. Anyway, yeah, maybe she's the reason why I'm in that mood. I don't know. So I have Rumble in LA. The donkey panda. I'm not doing a very good job of being a donkey panda. There's a thing right there somewhere. Somebody retracted a message. I hope they weren't. Whatever. Something is not right. The greatest free will song by Rush. Okay. Can't play it on YouTube, but I may try and play it on Rumble. So before I do that, I will get caught up with the chat. People saying hi. Suzanne saying very nice, Curtis. I'm not sure what I said that was nice, but I'm glad you liked it, whatever it was. Because I probably pushed the line on several things all over the place today. Lizzie Armstrong, I love the maple leaf. Would love a white jumper with a red maple leaf on it. I like red socks, so would like some red socks. Red socks. So if anyone's thinking about giving a Christmas or birthday present to Lizzie, well, she needs red socks and a white jumper with a red maple leaf on it. PvP, there's a cute little honey on Facebook that brings the word tease to new levels. Totally cute, but I'm not paying to see her a butt. I hear you. That's the deal. Yes, the woman's pretty and she's showing me things, but I don't know. There's just something empty about paying to see things. Not meaning to be judgy. It's just not the same. It's not the same. There should be a national talk like Sean Connery Day. I agree. We should all talk like Sean Connery at some point in our lives. Lizzie Armstrong thinks they should be an unofficial Sean Connery Day in Scotland and have the old Scots to celebrate him. That would be cool. Suzanne, Lizzie, that would be nice to find videos of. Sean was a great actor. Indeed, he was. Loves Connery as Bond as well, stuff he did later. I still haven't seen Zardoz, but I've heard that it is fun, and he was fantastic in Highlander. You're crude and slow. Your attack was no better than that of a clumsy child. You smell like a dung heap. You have the manners of a goat, and you have no idea whatsoever of your potential. Sean and Highlander, classic piece of casting. Everyone should own a pew-pew. I agree. Thank you, Stream Elements. I need to delete Stream Elements or really work at it. Rioters should be held accountable for their actions. Still, when the government is not governing to maintain any kind of order, do they have any accountability? Yes, indeed. Jasmine Lane is hot. She's too hot. Too hot, baby. Gotta run for shelter. Gotta run for shade. And she's smart, which only makes her hotter. Intelligent women are the hottest. Maybe that's it. Maybe too many women are saying intelligent things on the chats. Maybe that's what's getting me all riled up. If you choose not to decide, John Ponderero says you have still made a choice. Well put. Very well put. Resla Germ, finally they moved the wood chipper in my driveway. Okay. Lizzie Armstrong, Suzanne. Yes, John Schumann, Australian musician, lives in South Australia. In Coat Hanger Productions, Ross Ryan sang Spirit of the Rain, written for her project Rain Dance. That's fantastic. PvP says that OnlyFans seems very exploitive. I think it's very discriminative. I haven't gotten a dime from my OnlyFans channel. I'm just teasing. Gorilla's master has set Dobby free. Dobby is a free elf. Easy to find on YouTube. Zardoz is fun. Sean in a loincloth. And PvP, I got a OnlyFans. I post all kinds of pics. Ceiling fans, Bix fans, accelerating fans, barn fans. You know, Gorillas, if you do, that would be brilliant. And I might actually be tempted to go to that OnlyFans site. I really might be tempted. Lizzie Armstrong, no videos of Scottish drinking to Sean Connery. They hide behind the bagpipes on that one. PvP is asking the same thing I am. Wood chipper? Is Germ getting rid of the bodies in his garage? And Lizzie Armstrong, I think you will like those songs, Suzanne. Indeed. So, I don't quite want to end it yet, but we've been talking for 2 hours and 56 minutes. Holy crap. I need to at least be winding this down. Okay, let's do a few things just in case I muck it up when I shut down YouTube. Because I'm going to try to do some Rumble things. But we'll see. We'll just see if that works. And even though this is really cool, I'm almost certain that YouTube will ding me because that's what they do. So I'll maybe share that on Rumble. Oh, rumble, 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 drumbly bird. What do I want to share with you guys? I'm going to share pointless and partisan things that Curtis has found on Twitter. Hopefully I don't share anything too embarrassing. Reference back to, I've kind of been in a mood lately. So much stuff. Okay, back to the bookmarks. Okay, let's go to... Okay, I'm going to start. Where am I wanting to start? There's so much that's going on. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to start with something deep and sad. Chicago One Ray on Twitter shares Duck Dynasty star Jace Robertson is asking for prayers after reporting his mother, Miss K, here she is, was suffering from severe depression after the loss of her husband, Phil. They were married for 59 years. May God's comfort be with Miss K and help her to get through this. So, yeah, if you're a praying person, if not, that's okay. But if you are, maybe send some prayers out for her. That's got to be hard. Scott Adams. Writers call this style of writing voicey because you can feel the personality of the author. It's like an art form within an art form. Trump might never get full credit for the quality of his writing, but it often blows me away You won't see better. Scott Adams is the cartoonist that did Dilbert until he was canceled. Now you can only find Dilbert on his, as far as I know, on his YouTube channel, or his, not YouTube canceled him, his Twitter account. Donald J. Trump just inspected the site of the new ballroom that will be built, compliments of a man known as Donald J. Trump at the White House. For 150 years, hold on, I got to do this in my Trump voice. For 150 years, presidents and many others have wanted a beautiful ballroom, but it never got built because nobody previously had any knowledge or experience in doing such things. But I do, like maybe nobody else, and it will go quickly, be a wonderful addition, very much in keeping with the magnificent White House itself. These are the fun projects I do while thinking about the world economy, the United States, China, Russia, lots of other countries, places, and events. It will be all good, maybe even great, depending on who is the president of the USA. Next order, Tom Homan announces the Trump administration is deploying the National Guard. This was the first I even heard about the riots. I won't play it. YouTube will ding me. But yeah, LA councilwoman calls to escalate anti-ICE fight. And that on that day, the most trending thing was like close down ICE or something like that. And I got to hear, because I have gotten into an echo chamber, I got to hear a lot of the things that the left were saying. A lot of it was crap, but there were things that actually made me pause and kind of think. This was not one of them. This one was, however, something I totally was in agreement with. Deleted scenes saying, a traitor to her city, state, and country. Libs of TikTok, I know. They're discredited if you're left. LA Mayor Karen Bass promises to protect illegals in her city. Obstructing or impeding ICE operations is a crime. I'll go ahead and play this. It's only 14 seconds. If YouTube dings me, they ding me. Let's see what all...
Fight for all Angelenos, regardless of when they got here, whether they have papers or not. We are a city of immigrants, and this impacts hundreds of thousands of Angelenos. We are going to fight.
This is going on in Ireland, by the way. I bet you didn't hear about it. This is going on at Cork. People on the ground are estimating over 20,000 Irish people are out protesting on the streets of Cork. If you want to know what a peaceful protest looks like, it looks like this. Their own country's flag, their own citizens, nothing being set on fire. This is a grassroots people of the people by the people. I'm going to add not a paid for setup situation purchased by you, the taxpayer, through USAID or NEF. Time Capsule Tales, Lucille Ball dances the Charleston with her daughter Lucy Arnaz and close friend Ginger Rogers in 1971. Absolutely cannot play the noise on YouTube. In fact, I'll probably be upset that I played this visual of it. I thought it was beautiful, though. Fletcher Williams, I Suck at Games, who, by the way, is Hispanic. So if anyone's got a right to talk about this stuff, it's him. When folks say they're just protesting, why use violence and destruction while waving a foreign flag? That's not protesting. That's a terror act. And again, I won't play the noise. This is him sharing what Benny Johnson shared. The city basically going up in flames. Anti-ICE rioters just set a vehicle on fire in an intersection in the LA area. Benny Johnson is calling for their arrest. Again, Ireland showing how it should be done. Ireland belongs to the Irish and always will. Yup, the rebels. God save Ireland. What an absolutely uplifting and beautiful day in the rebel county. One nationwide patriotic family that is growing by the day. And I wish I was on Rumble. Oh, I wish I was on Rumble. Something I want to say, and I can't say it on YouTube. J.K. Rowling. I've been trying to keep from cussing, but I'm going to allow one out right now. J.K. Rowling wants fantasy bitch etched on her tombstone. She takes that from the tweet by Ben Angeloni. Nah, Simone is the greatest in her field. She doesn't need anything from this fantasy bitch. Dwarven DM John Christian. Remember that hashtag D&D is temporary escape from reality. Unplug from the news cycle. Crack open a book instead. Sometimes you just need to dive into another world. Which one do you escape into? He's showing on a photo that his escape world is the Dragonlance trilogy. Mike Benz. This is the person who convinced me that the 2020 election actually was stolen. If you haven't listened to him, at least give him a listen. I'm not saying you have to agree with him. You don't have to believe everything he says. But I think he's one of those people that you really are doing yourself a disservice if you don't ever listen to at least 10 minutes of the things that he says. Having said that, we all know that a 10-minute cut can always be edited to make anyone look like an idiot. Mike Benz. I've been quoting him a lot, specifically this tweet from June 7. It's crazy this riot is in L.A. where the mayor of L.A., Karen Bass, who's all about that base, was for 6 years on the board of NED, the National Endowment for Democracy, if you don't know what that is. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. I think I had to delete it off of YouTube because I'm sure that's part of my harmful material, but you really need to know what the NED is. If you thought the USAID was a bad thing, you need to look into the NED. And I have not brought out this question, but what the hell did Doge do with NED? Because if anything needs defunded and closed, it's that. But anyway, it's a CIA cutout that specializes in starting riots and street protests. Don't believe me? Look it up. Before she helped the CIA start riots, she was a community organizer, professionally organizing protests. Mostly peaceful memes, showing some of the mostly peaceful protests. Notice a subtle difference between this one and the one in Ireland? Anybody? These are military-aged males conducting paramilitary operations, flying foreign flags. They should be treated accordingly. Let me get caught up on the chat. PvP, been such fun. Please go a bit longer. I'm going to do the... I've got a lot of stuff in Twitter, so it'll go on for quite a bit. And then I'm going to try Rumble, but I want to do it at a point where if it does end up being the last thing that I said, well, it hopefully is still a good stream. Suzanne, Lizzie, you have Eckstein living in Australia. Lizzie Armstrong, Curtis, nice having morning coffee with y'all. Much love. Thank you all for the great discussions. Thank you. You're too kind. PvP, I won't comment on Rumble as no account, but I'll watch and lurk. That is absolutely fine. And that's one of the reasons, why I do wanted to keep doing some things on YouTube, because I know not all of you have Rumble accounts, and it's not the most convenient thing to work on, to be a consumer of. Gorillas, I'm going to take the scenic route through Valley this time of day. There's shadow. There's a cemetery out there. I guess you can say I'll be driving through the valley of the shadow of death. Indeed. Deep and yet funny at the same time. PvP, Gorillas, he's asking if you are doing a cigar lounge at 7 Pacific tomorrow. John Ponerero is throwing out those Trump memes on Rumble, drum belabored. PvP, no rational politician should protect illegals. Taxpayers pay her salary so she can help non-taxpayers. Lizzie. And I mean, there's situations like if this was something like World War II and we're trying to protect, Jews that were honest, really were being, I'm having a senior moment. What's the word I'm trying to say? But they really were being abused and killed and all kinds of horrible things. That would be one thing. Please remind me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember a bunch of Jews rioting in the 40s and saying that we should become, we should hand some of our states over to Israel. I may have missed it, and I know that there are people who have the thing about Zionism, and often, like Moira Kitty, will make really good points on it. But I'm just saying, I don't remember that in history, so let me know if I missed it. Lizzie Armstrong, we have Peter Garrett, Midnight Oil. People listen to our musicians, Yoti Yindi especially. PvP, Curtis, civilized Western nations are being destroyed by our governments. That's the thing that baffles me. I get it, but I don't. Why are our governments seeking to destroy us? Look at any Western democracy. It's overrun by illegals that hate our values. It is, and this is the part that I get, the globalist agenda at work. Whiskey Flats gives us some hope here. The ban on high-capacity mags has been overturned. So suck it, YouTube. PvP Carney supports China, says Islam values are Canadian values. And look, if you know me, Sufi poetry is amazing stuff. I'm not one of these people that, and I know you're not either, PvP, but we're not those people that paint with a broad brush that all Islamists are bad people, that they're all terrorists and this and that. But the Islamic fundamentalist terrorist who is often trying to destroy our country and sadly is a percentage of these immigrants, that's a totally different story. And I agree with you. The Islamic fundamentalist terrorists, their values have nothing to do with Canada or the United States or Great Britain or the West or even the best parts of Islam. They refuse to table a formal budget, and they want a 3-month holiday, which I do too. FYI, Whiskey Flat says Clinton's attack on the Second Amendment is what convinced me that I was not a Democrat. I understand that. Don't do a political stream. Oh, Suzanne does not want me to do a political stream. Okay, well, I will honor that. So I kind of did just do a political stream, but I hope I did it in an appropriate way. But I do want to respect your thought there. Don't do a political stream. Okay, so I'm going to get it out of my system now. Orange man, orange man, orange man, orange man. Okay, I got it out of my system. We will not talk much about Orange Man. John Ponerero is a bass player. I say Karen Bass gives Bass a bad name. You give Bass a bad name. Okay, so it's good to see everybody. DJ Ronnie G took a nap, spoke to a fellow Italian on the phone since I last chatted. Awesome. Bass player Lizzie Armstrong, You Do Indie, supported Carlos Santana. Big sellout concert. That's cool. Gorillas, expect lots of shorts of Thursday. It's hot dog night downtown. Dang it, I'm getting hungry now. PvP, Smithsonian, U.S. government turned away thousands of Jewish refugees, fearing they were National Socialist spies. Dang it. I should say UN partition mess. DJ Ronnie G, I apologize for my crass verbiage. They have ad blocker on, so I couldn't read it. Lizzie, the main singer of Yotu Yindi, passed now, sadly. Is anyone familiar with Matis Yahoo? Okay, I've got two things I want to share on Rumble if it works. I want to share the song with Rush that PvP shared, and I want to share Matis Yahoo. Yeah. All right. But we'll see if Rumble will work or not, because I can't share it on YouTube. Okay, so we're going to be less political because we're going to be nice to the people. PvP, look at the recent decades of Islam. I don't see Christians, Jews, and Buddhists doing that stuff. And again, yes, you'll find sects of Christians, maybe sects of Jews. I don't know about Buddhists. I don't think I remember any angry militant Buddhists, but there's probably something I missed. Lizzie Armstrong, thank you, John. Have a great day. Suzanne, nice talking to you. Connie, much love. PvP, I love your political streams. They're the best ones on YouTube. Thank you. But I do understand why people don't. They don't like politics, and I get it. I do. Lizzie, homework for Curtis. Aussie music. Cassie, the house will be rocking. On that note, she finally came over here. Boop. There she is. Just taking a little nap at my feet because she's a cook or roll. PvP, keep doing political streams. I enjoy the intelligent level of discussion. I thank you for that. I really try to do it the right way, and I probably fail sometimes. Greta and her boat got detained. I did hear something about how she was kidnapped. Lizzie, I am familiar with that one. I figured you would. Gorillas, Curtis, have you seen some of the concoctions people come up with? You would be that hungry. Lizzie makes a pretty intelligent point here. Buddhism is more of a practice than a religion. I've started to practice a little more meditation. I'm still not really good at it because my mind's just all over the place, but I do think it's been helping me to stay calm. If politics are not someone things, they can watch something else. But yeah, I know, but I don't want to scare Suzanne away, at least not arbitrarily. Liz Armstrong, one day I might make it over having a fear flying, but at the moment have not overcome it. Greta the Doom Goblin. Okay. Oh, okay, Suzanne. Bleeding hearts can piss off and allow the channel owner their own channel. I definitely agree with that. While I may get political, I don't want it to be an unsafe place. Like if someone's a classical liberal, like a lot of the people in Connie Cleary's community, they're what I call classical liberals. They believe the things that liberalism used to stand for, if I'm understanding them correctly. They're not the ones that are like this gentleman here throwing rocks at just every car that's passing by. That's a peaceful protest. Javier Millier gifted the Pope a book called The Fatal Conceit, The Errors of Socialism. I'm going to save this one for this will be my third Rumble thing if I get Rumble to work. Rob Schneider, since nobody reads 5,000-page bills, let's slip in term limits. Maria with Tea and Telly, who may be part of why I'm in the mood I'm in, because I think she's so lovely, is at the Goodwill wearing this. Doesn't scream fashion diva. It says I'm comfortable and I have a fun side to me. But this lady comes up to me to give her fashion advice. So I was looking for the camera as I hooked her up, but still wondering why she asked me. Maria. Fletcher Williams, again, Hispanic person himself, so he definitely has a right to share this and criticize. This is not peaceful. I wouldn't even really worry that they have the Mexican flag if they weren't burning cars. You know, if they really were just peacefully protesting and had their Mexican flags up, that's fine. But when you have a foreign flag and you're burning things, I'm going to share this on Rumble too. Ron Howard, hashtag golden anniversary. I'm a very lucky man. Thank God for you, Cheryl. So whatever you may think of Ron Howard, he's been able to stay married 50 years in Hollywood. That is amazing. My hat's off to them both. God bless them. Dudes posting their wins. This is a huge win. Bored Panda, but he looks like Gary Sinise to me. This man took over 1,000 children of fallen soldiers to Disneyland free of charge. And I hope you all won't think less of me. I got to admit that I am half in the battle. I'm wanting to tear up over that. This is the image that made me decide I had to talk about this. Mike Benz. They're literally rioting to stop from being sent back to the foreign country whose flag they're waving. They're fighting for the country they refuse to live in. I'll share that one on Rumble. Deleted scenes. What is your plan to stop this, Gavin Newsom? Who's saying the Secretary of Defense is now threatening to deploy active duty Marines on American soil against its own citizen. Because nothing screams citizen like riding around on a bike with a Mexican flag and burning other people's vehicles. Gavin says this is deranged behavior. I wonder if he can look up the word irony. Orthodox faith, an orchid species called flower of the Holy Spirit, Peristeria elata, starts blooming during Pentecost each year. Before it blooms, it looks like monks praying. When the flower blooms, it resembles a flying dove. The Kifness, famous for they're eating the dogs, woof, 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 woof. They're eating the cats. Meow, 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 meow. He's been on tour in the U.S. now for a month, traveled 13,000 kilometers, played 21 shows, still going strong with 8 shows to go. He's going to be in Phoenix tomorrow night, which would be tonight, I believe. Santa Fe, which is sold out, and Austin, which is sold out. I'm going to save that one for Rumble, that one for Rumble. This one, yeah. Somewhere in LA, there's a 68-year-old Korean grocery store owner wiping the dust off of his pew-pew. Tony Moon, best response ever. It's never dusty, my friend. It's always oiled and ready. All right. Let's catch up in the chat. Promote everybody just in case Rumble doesn't work. Yes, Lizzie Armstrong. I am subscribed to Plum Village on YouTube. Sadly, it was only a few years ago that I learned about Thich Nhat Hanh. I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but he was very influential on Martin Luther King Jr. He was a Vietnamese Buddhist priest. he came to France and set up Plum Village. I read a book of his called Jesus and Buddha as Brothers. I know the controversy between some people in the different religions, but I thought it was a beautiful book. I'm not going to try to convince anybody that it is so, but if I'm understanding Thich Nhat Hanh correctly, you basically have two beings of with godlike energy. You have the Christ and you have the Buddha. And again, I'm not here to convince anybody to be Christian or Buddhist, but I thought it was a very intriguing book. Hopefully, if I'm going to hell, well, I'm going to hell. Lizzie Armstrong, for the meditation practice, yes, there are Buddhist monks. I'd say it's a religion. And I know I don't want to get into the debate because it is a debate. Is it a religion? Is it a philosophy? Let me put it this way. My practice is philosophical. I don't really pray to Buddha. It's okay if you do, or I'm not judging you if you do. But I simply try to meditate more. I try to think about mostly the precepts of Christ, but sometimes I do meditate on the precepts of Buddha or Hindu precepts. I'm not so much caring, I'm not like trying to connect with any particular God. I'm trying to connect with God as God really is. There was a saint, I wish I could remember his name. He had a prayer every day, prayed, God, please shatter my false illusions of you today and let me know you better instead. So that's what I pray to. I know that whatever my beliefs are, some of them are almost certainly incorrect. So I pray to God as he really is, whatever that may be. I don't know enough, but I am Christian. I believe that Jesus was an incarnation of God. Beyond that, I'm not going to really get into it or try to persuade you one way or the other about it. Suzanne, I enjoy your streams, but when not politically motivated. Okay, I understand. Have a great day. PvP, there's so little intelligent political discussion. I'd really miss it if you stopped. Whiskey Flats, your political discussions are open-ended for both sides. While you may lean one way or the other, you always welcome civil discussion. John says that's kind of my jam. That is Gary. J. Ronnie G. You fan do network TV when you start looking like Gary Sinise. You can do network TV when you look like Gary Sinise. Yes. If they love Mexico so much, why are they in America? Seriously, some folks don't know what a citizen means. Lizzie Armstrong, you can always surprise me. I was going to mention that about Martin Luther King. Yes. It's all complex philosophy and spirit. John Ponterero, Taizé community in France has produced some cool meditations. We used to present a service once a month using the Taizé format. Interesting. Very interesting. PvP, for me, religion should be about peace, stability, reflection on existence. I like this. I think I'm going to make this the statement of the stream. If the religion's about power and control, that's when it goes sideways. I like that. Lizzie, sad about Gary's son. The music they did was beautiful. I don't know enough about that. Okay. I'm going to promote everybody and say goodbye just in case. I'm hoping it doesn't end, but it may. I'm going to continue on Rumble. It will at least be mildly political, but hopefully not too bad, because I'm going to share 2 songs and a few things on X that I hope aren't badly political, but if they are, I understand. PvP, the answer for everything is 42. Thus saith Tim. Pleasant, lovely. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Religion should be about peace, stability, and reflection on existence. If it's about power and control, that's when it goes sideways. I love that. Love that. All right. There's so many good people here. It's going to take me forever to get through it, but I will play the soft prone music. I had that Barry White voice. Let's get it on. Doobie doobie Scooby Doo. Doobie doobie Scooby Doo. Man, there's so many people who chatted today. It's crazy. But it's all harmful material. Don't forget. All right. So we had John Ponarero both in Rumble and on YouTube. We also had Natasha in YouTube. She said she was loving it, but then she went silent. So I may have said something that was too much or something. That's okay. I mean, you know, different people have different strokes. PvP, thank you very much. And check out PvP. He's got some material there. He painted that painting that's in his icon. So he's definitely an artistic, creative feller. And he is often in the panels with Gorillas, Mikey Susie 4, Resolute Germ, Larry B. Your Self Adventures. Who am I missing? There's like the Sci-Fi Sif Dan. There's 6 to 8 people that often get together. They're very fun, very, very intelligent people. They talk about things, but they mostly just have fun and rib each other. As long as they're not playing any movies with Daniel Craig, I can guarantee you it's a good evening if you spend it with them. Daniel Craig is right out. And Resolute Germ, another one of the great creators. I try to be on with him every other Saturday, but I missed this last Saturday because Tonkawa had power go out. Yay! I suppose I could have tried to use my phone, but frankly, I was afraid since I had a night without it charging that it would die in the middle of it. So, and there's YouTube probably thinking, there's the harmful content. He said die. D. Penzak, thank you very much. Thank you for the kind comments and for forgiving me for blocking you momentarily. I promise I meant to block the trolls. DJ Ronnie G, another great creator here. He's got some very informative videos, so please check this gentleman out. Thank you for being here and for the kind comment. 1848, it's a bit late to give back the land. Jeff B, thank you for your kind comments and for your presence. Stream Elements, thank you so much for promoting Sci-Fi Mombi, but you kind of suck because I think you're censoring my people and I don't like it. Need to do something about it soon. But I'll probably just whine about it till the next stream. Connie Cleary, another great creator here, and soon, I'm not going to give anything away, but there will be a major announcement on her second channel, Fluff Chick Productions. Check her out. Her normal Connie Cleary channel has got birds, soothing music, cute dogs. Meditate to her channel. That's what I suggest. Whether you believe in Christ, Buddha, or the Great Pumpkin, meditate on Connie Cleary's birds. Or you can go to Fluff Chick Productions, where she will teach you some really cool crafty things. I got to tell you, that pumpkin that you turn into an eyeball, it's actually scary, but it's cool and Halloweeny. So when Halloween comes, watch that one and make a pumpkin eyeball to scare all the kids. after we just talked about how we shouldn't be harming kids. Susanna, yeah, meet you all the way. She's gonna pay PvP and eggnog. The Eggnogginator. Whiskey Flats Garden Railroad. I hope you make it home soon. And I hope you were kept a little bit of company while we talked about Koreans, pew-pews, and riots. I'm having a senior moment. I wish I could think of a good quiet riot song. Lizzie Armstrong, thank you very much. I know you do a little bit of creation yourself, at least on your channel. So always feel free, share some stuff. If anyone makes fun of you for it, we'll send Gary out there to do things that YouTube wouldn't want me to talk about to somebody in kneecaps. I say Gary because he's like 6'3" and 200 and some pounds, and some of it's fat and some of it's not. I'd tangle it with him if I had to, but I wouldn't have much fun with it. Just saying. I don't want to think about how it would end up. Accounting Sheep, God bless you, and please go over, check out his channel, and especially the poem Horatius. It's hellacious. The way it stirs your blood, it makes you want to defend your family, brings out the best of who you are, makes you want to think about the Roman Empire 70 times a day. You'll learn that Star Wars stole a lot of stuff from Roman history. Tim was cleaning his computer room. Something I need to do. Rooftop Koreans. You didn't know you were going to hear about rooftop Koreans today. Honestly, I didn't until about 10 minutes before the stream. That's what I love about this community. So much intelligence and knowledge. We should gather as a team to take over the world. YouTube, you do not understand. You are the bad guys. You are the bad guys, and you are the censors. You are more like Mustache Man than I am, even though I am impersonating him now. No one has ever escaped from Stalag 13. Rutger Hauer was the best actor. California, Uber alles. Big Al Presents, another great creator here, founder of the 10-Word Review, and presenter of really good movies. So if you're not on Gorilla Censored Thoughts when he's presenting a movie, you need to be on Big Al Presents. In fact, we should all be big couch potatoes and forget about all this preparation for riots. Never mind. But do please check out his channel and maybe watch a review or two, because he has... I want to watch the Sasquatch movie that he was talking about the other day. That review, it made me think I need to watch that. That sounds like a lot of fun. On Gorillas, we watched the female Terminator the other day. It was appalling to some of us, but I think most of us were amused by the sheer level of what in the name of hell is this that was going on. Dooby, Scooby, Scooby, Doo. Am I missing anybody? DJ Ronnie G. I said hi to him. So many people had so many things to say. All right. Okay. So I'm going to give my old spiel. I'm going to give it quickly, though. It's been said that life is pain, and anyone trying to tell you otherwise is trying to sell you something. I, in fact, am trying to sell you something. My apologies if it turns out to sound political, but I'm trying to sell you on the idea that you are good enough and smart enough to run your own life. You do not need big governments. You don't need big corporations. You don't need either or any political party telling you how to think, what to do, what to eat, what to put in your body, who you should be sharing your body with. All of these things are things you're smart enough to know what to decide yourself. I also would like to let you know, it does indeed appear you listen to the media, you will think you're going insane, but you're not. No, you're not going insane. I think some of us, anyway, are going sane in a world gone mad. God bless all of you. Let us see if I'm smart enough to be able to end the stream on YouTube and not Rumble. I know there's got to be a way to do it. There's a way to do this. This can be done. It shall be done. It should be done. Gorillas takes a blank page, writes, edit until you can see it. If I hit stream, it ends on both. So if I somehow hit end on YouTube, maybe? No. There's got to be a way. I know there's a way. Oh, DJ Ronnie G is asking me, and I'm going to answer. I'm actually on StreamYard. So if I toggle off the destination. Ooh, wait, what if I do this? Let's see if this works. All right, I'm going to try this. Let's see if this works. Anyone that's on YouTube and not Rumble, this is goodbye. It may be goodbye on both of them. We'll find out. I don't want to delete it.